Suddenly, Perrin thought that Fael might be safer with the Shido than he was here and now. Guys, have some chat for Perrin.
What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarence.
And this is the Nerdy, the Wordy, the Book Club.
Let's
Welcome
go.
back on this Black Friday.
Yeah. Right. Pew, 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 pew,
Pew, pew, pew. I hope that you all got your Black Friday shopping in. I hope that you did not... I hope that you did not in any way harm the staff at whatever local... mall, you trampled, you monsters.
Monsters. We don't do that here in Canada.
Monsters all blue.
Blue, except Blue. Blue's not a monster.
Blue gifting 10 memberships. Thank you so much.
Blue, thank you so much for 10 gift. Oh my god.
What?
Happy Black Friday.
Happy Black Friday, everybody. Welcome into the Nerdy, the Wordy, the Book Club, the only book club covering a little-known series, The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, no, I know most of you have probably never heard of it, but thank you for being here. Anyways, we appreciate it.
If this is your first episode, then you know the Wheel of Time was recently dredged up out of the Black Sea next to Old Testament, new versions of the Old Testament, which is interesting. And so getting to dive into these ancient texts with you all weekly on this podcast truly is a joy.
Yes. Thank you for being a part of the, I don't know. What can we call ourselves instead of like we're not if this is our religion.
This is not our religion.
What do we call ourselves?
Oh.
The Wolf Brothers?
This week, yeah. God.
This week, yes.
This week in what's going on in with Perrin. Before we do get into this episode of the podcast, we need to mention that the podcast is brought to you by Audible.
What?
Audible is a subscription service that allows you to listen to people read because you can't. Because you never learned.
Or maybe you just like choose not to. Maybe you're like, hey, reading is for nerds and I'm not a nerd, so I'm going to listen to my books.
Wait, but I'm a nerd.
Well, you don't really listen to audiobooks that much.
That's fair.
So
that is fair. Audible is an incredible service that has like every book ever written read by somebody. And some books even have different. You can like be like, do I want to listen to Eye of the World read by Kramer and Redding, or do I want to listen to it read by Rosamund Pike? You get options on Audible.
What?
And if you go to audibletrial.com/nerdynightly, you get a free month of Audible plus a free audiobook. You get a free book, and you don't have to do anything
except sign up with our code.
If you're in the States. If you're not in the States, our code doesn't actually do anything. So, sorry about that.
Sorry, sad.
We found that out after we started all of this.
But it's fine.
But it's fine. You still here's the crazy thing. If you are not in the United States and you go to audibletrial.com/nerdynightly, you still get a free audiobook and a free month of Audible. We just don't get
the credit. But that's
fun. And you know what? Audible's such a good service. I recommend you doing it anyway. Even if I don't get paid, I'm like, you know what? Get your free audiobook.
Honestly, yeah, audiobooks are pretty
As a gift. It's Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Santa came down the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade yesterday, and now it's Christmas season.
Fucking Americans in your parade.
It is finally okay. I know that stores have been playing Christmas music for a month. It is finally okay to actually play it.
You can't, as long as you don't start before Halloween. That's my rule. You can celebrate Christmas as much as you want, but like give Halloween its day. You know what I mean? Give us cosplayers a reason to like lazily put on a costume as opposed to like cosplay it.
Eric in the chat is saying that my oven gave up the spirit this week, the Christmas spirit, and so they bought a 5-top induction stove with 2 ovens.
Oh,
Eric, we have the same stove now.
I think so.
Our new place is a 5-top induction with 2 ovens.
Yeah, we have 2 ovens. It's the weirdest thing. Like it's not that weird.
But I will say,
think about it,
for roasting veggies, the preheat time on a 2-oven oven is wicked. Because we just use the small top one to roast veggies, right? And so it gets from like 0 to 415 or 425, depending on what you like roasting your veggies at, in like a minute and a half. It's so fast.
Oh my God.
Our old oven, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to start, I'm eating breakfast. Might as well turn the oven on now for dinner. Wait for that thing to heat up. You know what I don't need to wait to heat up, though? the spice between Berlaine, the worst, and Perrin.
Yeah, Berlaine's official middle name is the worst.
Berlaine is the worst. She's the first, and she's the worst.
The reason I said F's in chat for Perrin is because if he doesn't die fighting, Fail will kill him. So...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to see how
I don't think it is.
Out.
All right. So if you're here, welcome to the first episode of Book 9. Last week we did we ended the chapters of Book 8. But this week would be a full book recap. But because we're going to be in LA next week and the week after, we're going to try and do one live book club next week. Hopefully that happens. Keep your fingers crossed we have the internet.
Yeah.
And then the following week we're going to do a pre-taped full book recap for the last book.
Yes. Yeah, because we still wanted to put stuff up while we were away, but we can't always guarantee that we're gonna have the ability to live stream.
So the goal was to not take any weeks off in December because we've worked it out with our mods that we're pretty sure that we will be done all of Robert Jordan's writings between 9, 10, 11, and New Spring by Jordan Con. And so we will be, I think the plan for Jordan Con right now is we're going to try and do a full Jordan recap.
Yeah.
And then we'll start Brandon Sanderson after Jordan Con.
Yeah.
We'll start with whatever his Gathering Storm, I think is his first book.
Is 13.
Yeah, it's Gathering Storm.
12 is Gathering Storm.
So that's the plan, is to kind of keep going and not have any breaks so that we can do like the full Jordan recap.
No days off.
No days off. That might be a little bit adjusted if we do not have internet next weekend, so we'll see.
Yeah,
but
we will keep you guys in the loop for sure.
Keeney Theology, thank you for joining the Nargs. They were actually really bad abridged audiobooks made for the first 3 books.
Oh no, they made an abridged version?
Huh. That's interesting. I don't know.
I want to hear
of the books we've read so far, the first 3 are not the ones I would abridge.
Well, it just means it's easier for, like, younger readers, right? Like...
I wouldn't abridge. Yeah, I would abridge this book.
I want to hear that now. Rob Berry, thank you for that super chat. Of course.
Thank you for doing book club this week. I was dreading the 2-week break. Love you guys. Well, we were always going to do it this week, but it was the next 2 weeks. But now the next 2 weeks we will have book club.
Yeah. We're going to keep trying to give you Wheel of Time content every Friday.
And then Carlac26, thank you for that super chat. Will we get a remastered wedding cake cooking video on the new stove? Do you want to remake our wedding cake in January?
Honestly, our wedding cake was delicious.
It was so good.
So, like...
It was chocolate cinnamon?
Yeah. Chocolate, honey, cinnamon.
Chocolate, honey, cinnamon icing, yeah.
Oh
my God.
My God. That was delicious.
Thank you to everyone who's been going back and watching the wedding video. That's been fun to see. Yeah. And everyone who goes back and watches the wedding. It's weird when that number goes up.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, our wedding is on YouTube. So if you wanted to watch us get married, the live stream, I cut it down so that I cut out some of it.
Some of the long.
But the main ceremony part, you can watch me cry, which isn't a new thing on the internet. Yeah. I cry a lot.
Yeah, it's cute though. Yeah, so the full book recap for Path of Daggers will be Friday is that the 10th or the 9th? 9th, I believe.
Kyle Franson says, wear a no spoilers please shirt to Jordan Con. Oh.
Honestly, yeah, we should make a no spoilers shirt of our own.
I have an idea for Jordan Con.
Kyle, thank you for that super chat.
Let me know what you think about this chat. We'll put up the same design. We'll put up 14 versions of the same design on our store because it's print to order, right? And so it'll be how many Wheel of Time books I've read. And then it'll list all of the books, and there'll be a box next to it, and then there'll be a check. And so you can buy a shirt that will have the number of Wheel of Time books you finished going into Jordan Con.
That's fun. And then maybe the back says no spoilers.
Yeah. That might be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Or vice versa. Yeah, okay.
And then and then if you've read all of it, it'll say we'll put Nerd. There'll be a sash across the design that has completionist on it or something.
Oh my God, you earned all the PS5 trophies.
Yeah. All right, should we talk about chapter prologue through chapter 6?
Yeah.
Clarus, before we get into the chapter breakdowns, general thoughts on what we read so far.
Albino says sell one shirt and a Sharpie.
Oh, right, because if you just do a Sharpie, then you can
take it off yourself and add to it.
I know, but Sharpie kind of washes out. That way this would be
Does it?
Kind of.
I mean, you couldn't really get like a black shirt. But anyways, we'll figure that out. But that's fun.
Ooh, Angela says put the book list on the back like tour dates of a concert. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And then no spoilers, please, on the front.
Yeah.
We'll look into that. I like this idea.
We can make this happen.
I like this idea. We'll come up with something.
Yeah, we're not getting face tattoos, monkey. As fun as that would be. All right, Winter's Heart.
What do you think?
They already said Winter's Heart in the prologue, so the book is over.
Yeah, they get to the title real fast.
Yeah. They like get right down to the heart of it. I hope that played. I actually don't know if that.
I actually hate what you just said. I'm not even lying. Like that was.
You're welcome.
Guys, I think I need to quit the podcast.
It's going to be a one-woman show from now on. Yeah, we've got through 6 full chapters of the book, which the prologue was half of that.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that the prologue was the best part. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's a lot in the prologue that isn't prologue to me.
Yeah, that felt just very main story.
I think that... Here's how I think Robert Jordan wrote the books, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think that he wrote all of the chapters in order, and then he just cut them up randomly into books. And
all right, this one.
The prologues were just whatever chapters were released before the book came out.
No.
Because the prologue was released as an ebook like 6 months before the book came out.
Oh.
And so I'm convinced that like Robert Jordan doesn't use prologues the way other people use prologues. They're just chapters.
Yeah, they are. They
were released first.
Part of the story. Yeah. I'm not really sure what constitutes as prologue for Robert Jordan, but hey, whatever. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I do actually want to talk about. There's a little quote here in the beginning, and I wanted to ask you about it.
Drop the quote.
Okay.
Drop it on me.
The seals that hold back night shall weaken, and in the heart of winter shall winter's heart be born, amid the wailing of lamentations and the gnashing of teeth. For winter's heart shall ride a black horse, and the name of it is death.
Moradin.
I was wondering if you also thought that was Moradin.
Oh yeah, because his name's Death.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, so Winter's Heart is Moradin. Is this the book where like people start to find out about Moradin?
I think so.
Because it seems like Moradin has done a good job being a little sneaky boy.
Slipping under the radar.
Yeah, he is the sneaky link of the Dark One. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what a sneaky link is?
No.
I love my wife.
Should I know what that is?
No, it's actually fine that you don't.
Great. Yeah. Okay. I love that for me.
A sneaky link is like the person you're cheating on your partner with.
Oh, okay.
Your sneaky link.
Well, I hate that. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that this one, the quote at the beginning of this one was interesting, and I wondered if this book would be Moradin's like introduction to the main characters, because right now I don't believe that any of them know that he exists.
Christian Rappers...
Well, Avienda saw him actually, but she doesn't know it.
Christian Rapper says, I don't remember seeing any of the Emmonsfield 5 in a prologue. Did you read this prologue? Because Rand is in it.
Rand's in it, and Elaine's not the Emmonsfield 5, but she is in it. They do talk about Nynaeve.
But like, there's a whole section where Rand is just doing what he would do in a normal chapter in another book.
Yeah.
Also, this book, the first 6 chapters of this book to me are the most like chapter 30 from the last book should have been in this book.
I would have liked that, actually. That would have been a good start.
It would have been a more interesting start, in my opinion. Let's get into it. Let's get to the prologue, and then we'll talk about chapter 1.
Yeah. I was actually really happy with this. Why it is the prologue, genuinely, I'm not sure. But
no, not prologue.
Great.
I think that chapter 30 from the last book would have been a more interesting chapter 1 in this
I understand.
book.
Yeah,
because more happens.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Whereas chapter 1 of this book becomes just them leaving. You know what I mean? Like nothing. It like picks up in chapter 2.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like they could have started off, or at least the Fael falconing part of chapter 30 could have been shifted to the beginning of this book.
Yeah, maybe.
Like have Perrin find out at the end of the last book that the Aiel took Fael, but not know how or what happened.
Oh, have him find out last book.
Just have the cliffhanger at the end of last book be that Fael has been kidnapped and we don't know if she's dead or not. right? And then have this book start with us finding out that she's been taken as Gai Shan. Yeah.
I understand. Okay,
Because I didn't really have any questions about her. I was like, okay, she's been kidnapped.
We figured what happened, yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I didn't hate... I didn't hate how this was laid out.
I didn't either. I just found chapter 1 to be kind of a, like... Other than the first page of chapter 1, chef's kiss, incredible. And then after that, I was like, they're walking through town.
They're walking.
They're walking through town.
Books were made for walking.
And that's just what they do.
So we have the prologue, which is called Snow. Because in case you didn't know, this book is called Winter's Heart.
Yeah, so Jon Snow shows up. It's crazy.
It's crazy. We have a Game of Thrones crossover.
Yeah, I did not expect Kit Harington to come into my house and read the prologue to me. It was weird.
It was great, honestly, like huge bonus.
Yeah, he was shirtless. I was like, dude, it's cold outside. He's like, I'm Jon Snow. I'll feel nothing. I'll see you guys at Game of Thrones Con in 2 weeks.
Wow, that impression was spot on.
Get the fuck out.
Let's go.
We start with Sean. Guys, it's Sean. Look, I'm gonna be straight up. I hear you. The comments on last week's book club, a lot of people were a little disappointed by how long-winded I got about some things. I hear you. I won't do that today, I promise. Mm-hmm. But Sean was my favorite part of last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she's back. And like they were like, you know what? Nerdy needs to see Sean again if he's going to enjoy this book. And so they threw her at me right away.
The storyline is so fascinating. Like I love how it's all playing out because it is so convoluted, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So we kind of leave off almost immediately in that storyline where we left it.
Yeah.
Whichever
Tallene.
Tyrene, it's many things, is being tortured by a chair.
That's not really a chair.
It's just a cube that has like a soft surface on the top.
Yeah.
When it's being channeled.
It reminded me of the like little black cubes that you would use in like an improv class.
Oh,
because it has 2 holes on the side.
Yeah.
And so to pick it up, and so I was like, oh yeah, it's an improv cube.
The theater boxes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that was rough. But hey,
it's called the Chair of Remorse. Ooh, spicy.
And we find out that like they use it on criminals in Tarvalon, and that's why there's like very little crime there.
Yeah, because they torture everyone. Wow. Remember how these are the good people?
Yeah. Wow.
In her vision, she's being flogged by Trollocs.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I'm sure that'll be the only flogging that happens in this reading this week. And Yukiri is we've done this 3 times and it has not worked. It's not gonna work. We need to come up with another plan.
But it works.
But it does work. Yeah.
But it does work. She's like, all right, being eaten alive by Trollocs is not something that I want to experience. Mm-hmm. So she forswears all her previous oaths.
Yeah, and it hurts worse than any other of the oath for swearing.
Well, and I'm sure that the dark one makes you swear a fuck ton of oaths. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm sure that is a complicated contract.
It's either a lot of oaths or it's like one oath that is like, it's like a thicker oath. You know what I mean? Like it's got the strength of the oath is greater and therefore breaking it is more punishing. Yeah, okay. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really know how it works, but it could be either of those things, and to be honest, I am not sure. Or maybe, like, the Dark One, like, specifically builds in a torture device if you forswear his oaths. Like,
Yeah, but so she is like, yo, I am Black Aja, and they're like, oh, we're gonna tell Aleida, and she's like, well, don't, because Aleida also Black Aja.
And they're like, what?
Yeah, do you think that Aleida is actually Black Aja? Or do you think that Alviarin has convinced this woman that Aleida's Black Aja?
No, we know Aleida's not Black Aja. We know that Alviarin is controlling her, which is why she thinks that Aleida's Black Aja, right? She doesn't realize that Alviarin is actually the person behind it all. But Alviarin's the one making all the decisions, right? They're like,
100%.
We know everything weeks before it happens, so it has to be Aleida. You know, she's like, it has to be Aleida. So we know that she's not Black Aja, but the Black Aja are convinced that Aleida is one of them because of all the goings-on behind the scenes, right?
Fair. I don't know. I feel like there's still room for there to be a bait and switch.
No,
that
because
Aleida is like Black Aja being run by a different group.
No, but Aleida like has her visions for the good of the world that she sees, right? Not really for her own glory.
Yeah, no, that's true, actually, yeah. I just hate her, and I wouldn't mind if she was evil.
Yeah. Well, she is evil, but she's not...
She's not evil, though. No, she isn't. Like, the messed up thing about Aleida is that she's genuinely not evil. She's just...
very misguided, I guess.
Well, it is the danger of any character who believes in prophecy or has the power of prophecy is that she legitimately... has this thing that is telling her that what she's doing must be done for the fate of the world to end up good.
Right.
And honestly...
her prophecies have fucked her up.
Her prophecies have probably put her in a position to allow for the victory of Tarmangaden in some way. Like, at the end of this, Aleida doing what she did will have brought people together or whatever. Or maybe, like, the pattern needed Egwene to be raised in Saladar. So Aleida was led to be the woman that she is through a necessity of getting Egwene to be raised.
She was the worst scapegoat. Like,
And so she believes wholeheartedly in this prophecy that she says. She's not evil. She's a good person who believes in good and is going about it in such a flawed way, but it might be just the way the pattern needs her to do it.
Yeah.
Which is wild, right? And I think that this is what's interesting about anybody who has prophecies, is that if you're the person giving the prophecy, I think Min leans into this a little bit too, where like you start to see your prophecies as a crutch on your personality, where like you become so your personality becomes so much about the fact that you see the future that you lose your present self a little bit. And I feel like that is what's going on with Aleida.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if she turned out to be Black Aja, because I think that the way that she's going about things is wrong. But at the same time, it is so much more interesting to have this person do so many wrong things because she genuinely believes she's doing the right thing. Like, genuinely believes she's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And, like, that's really interesting. It's just tough.
Yeah, I think otherwise she'd be a lot more harrowing of a character to read. You know, because I think that is what makes her interesting, is that she has these tellings... and she has to believe in them wholeheartedly. And she believes that however she decides to go about them is always the right way.
I think she would be a little bit more compelling to me if she wasn't also frequently stupid. You know what I mean? Like, Aleida is frequently dumb.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is, like, for plot reasons, and I get it. And then other times it's, like, for comedic effect, and I don't.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I don't need the joke of the Aes Sedai making assumptions constantly. It just it denigrates their position a little bit in my eyes. And the fact that so many of the Aes Sedai are so stupid and like obviously stupid to the point where like they're pointing out to each other that they're stupid is just,
you're like, God damn it.
Like there's just times where I'm like, you could have made them more formidable, but like I'm sure they're gonna fall because of their own stupidity.
Yeah.
They're gonna fall soon, right? Like I don't think they make it to the end of the book.
Yeah. Things are about to get spicy in the tower.
No, they're gonna make it to the end of the book because it's gonna be a siege, right? And so it's gonna take forever because they're not gonna attack outright. They're gonna sit outside of Tarvalon. I you know what? I think that this book is gonna be the whole like block the river plot.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because there's got to be some. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
The idea of a siege makes me nervous. Yeah. Unless it gets broken, but then Egwene loses, right?
Yeah, the only reason I would be okay with skipping over the Tarvalon stuff, like it did at the end of last book, is if it's just a siege, and Robert Jordan's like, we're gonna get to the good part later, I promise. Yeah. But it's gonna like jump ahead and just be like, we've been here for 3 weeks and nothing much has happened, and I'll be like, okay, I'm glad we didn't need to know, like spend 3 weeks at a siege.
Colonel Sanders, thank you for being a 4-month narc.
4 months.
I think that you misspelled Padden Fane. I think that your super chat was Padden Fane is the best villain in the books, even though he is not a villain.
We've barely seen Padden Fane.
Padden Fane is still the most interesting villain in these books.
I will agree with that.
In terms of
he's barely in it though.
Sure, but
yeah,
I have understood his motivations. He's legitimately scary. He has accomplished his goals frequently. Padden Fane is, in my opinion, the most interesting villain. For those of you listening to the podcast, Colonel Sanders said Aleida is the best villain in the books, even though she is not a villain. I'm just making jokes.
Look, I think she's a great villain.
I don't think she's a villain though. And that's what's fun about her.
She's not a villain in her own eyes, but to the grand scheme of things, yeah. I mean, she's like, Gawain is annoying. Just kill him. Like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't think she's like, in a world where the Dark One is the villain, Aleida isn't, right? And that's what's...
if you only have one villain, then yes.
Sure. She is an antagonist to our heroes, but she doesn't have an evil plan to take over the world, right? Like, she doesn't have like a...
Yeah, you can be a villain without like a master plan, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I find...
The White Cloaks are all villains.
But they're not, right?
Yeah, they just go around like murdering people because it's convenient.
No, it's more complicated than that, and that's why it's interesting.
I guess that depends on what your definition of villainous is, but yeah, okay. She is an antagonist.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But here's why she's not a villain in my eyes. At the end of the Siege on Tarvalon, she could become one of the good team.
I doubt that.
The Tarvalon could end with her having a prophecy that says that she needs to give over to Egwene, and if she buys into it fully and gives over, then is she a villain at that point, right? If what has led her to this point is prophecy, is she a villain? Or is she being misled by the pattern into looking like a villain in our eyes?
Yeah, maybe.
Out of some sort of necessity for Egwene to reach the seat. I
wonder if we'll find out.
Not in this reading.
Not in this reading for sure.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting.
It's fascinating.
Sean, all the Sean POVs to me are like some of the best parts of the book now, and this character is brand new.
Agree. Like I don't feel like I really know much about this character, but seeing things through her eyes has been so cool.
We won't get her again today, though. So say goodbye to Sean, because now we have to go talk to another character we're only going to get one POV from. Elaine. Elaine is chilling.
Well, actually, we should mention that she does forswear her oaths and then swear to them.
Yeah. Everyone in this process is going to do that. And so is Zira. No, Zira's going to bring Bernail. Well,
they reveal that to the other sitters that they know that there's deserters in the tower that have come back to spread dissent. So that's all going to get very messy. But Elaine is in Camelin, and it's cold.
Yes. Yeah. This. Yeah. So, Elaine has kicked out all of Rand's people out of Camelin, and has replaced them in the defense of Camelin with mercenaries and hunters for the Horn.
Oh, well, is going to.
Do you think that this is a good idea? Or do you think that it would have been better to just keep Rand's people?
No. Because of how Camelin functions and because of what its people believe, if she had kept Rand's people around and accepted the throne from him, Diellen would have been able to step in and absolutely just like sweep her over. Like people would have rioted and it would have broken Camelin harder than the White Tower.
Sure. Counterpoint. Your guards people are now mercenaries who will do anything for money, and hunters for the Horn who will leave.
Yeah, which is what Brigitte says, right? Like,
right. So is riots with guard people better, or is having people who will fight for you if your opponents show up with an army better?
But they're not her people; they're Rand's people.
Rand's people will fight for Elaine because Rand says that Elaine needs to ascend. Look. I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's a terrible choice. I'm just saying
it's a terrible situation.
If I personally, I would have been like, look, there are people who might come try and kill me with armies from Andor, not even enemies, right? Just like other people who want the throne. Maybe I'll keep the people here who will fight for me and not replace them with people who can be bought. When I have no money. Like, she's like, I hope my estates start paying me because I'm fucked.
No, she's like, I have enough money in the coffers for a while. I just need the estates to start paying me. She's okay money-wise for the moment. That doesn't matter. Whether or not Elaine made the right choice, I honestly don't know because both choices have terrible consequences. And it really depends on how fast she can unite Camelin and the other noble houses with her. That will depend on whether or not it was the right decision. Because, the mercenaries and hunters for the Horn and whoever's left over, will be fine for a while. But accepting the throne from Rand in the eyes of the people will always and forever for the rest of her reign have be like a slander on her name, and she knows that. And so I think that she sees a situation and she's just picking one of two bad choices and she doesn't really have any others. So it's tough, right? Because everyone in the room is making great points.
But counterpoint. What if her and Rand just like got married and solved this problem?
Well, they are going to get married, but
I know, but I'm saying like if they had just sped that up, if Elaine just like messaged him and was like, hey, we need to get married for political reasons. We'll deal with love later.
But you're not understanding, because right now people see that Rand has taken Caemlyn and has said he's going to give it to Elaine. Them marrying does not solve that. They will eventually get married, but Elaine needs to take the throne herself, without anything to do with Rand, if she wants the people to follow and respect her. And Andor needs to be like an integral part of the armies that go to Tarmangaden. And she says, right?
I don't see why Andor needs to be a part of the fight in Tarmangaden.
They need everyone they can get against.
They don't have anyone.
One.
Like but here's the thing, like Andor is not some like great nation anymore. Robin kind of crippled the crap out of them, and most of their best warriors have fled. The best Andoran knights are currently in Murundi about to siege Tarvalon. Sure,
but like there are people who are faithful to their home and their country who will come back and serve Elaine, and she needs a people who are united under her and not dissenting because they believe that she's there under like false pretenses in a way. Like I her main concern, and I totally understand why, is showing strength and knowing that the people are following her and her rule and not upset with her because she took the throne from Rand, right?
I hope that works out for her. I do not think that it is.
There's going to be problems. I am not arguing with you on that at all. That like either choice is going to have terrible consequences. Yeah. It's just one of those things where you pick one. You have to do one or the other, and both would suck.
Simon Toulouse, I think about people are saying this. Andor is one of the biggest Rhaenland nations and one of the most stable ones. I mean, it's not right now though, right? Like, and that kind of is the problem. Is that Andor has fallen into banditry, and
Robin definitely fucks stuff up.
But not even Robin, right? Like, even Rand says that, like, his influence in Caemlyn his influence barely extends past Caemlyn and Andor, and that it's kind of wild, wild west out there. Yeah. And so, like, yeah, maybe Elaine is the one to patch that together. My, like, concern with this is that we're going to get, like, Elaine trying to patch Caemlyn together will be, like, multiple books of story. Yeah. And I know that we have like 5 more books, but I'm kind of 5 more books. I want characters to start coming back together, and like Elaine being like stuck in Caemlyn trying to do this like power play stuff for a throne that maybe it matters more in the final battle than I think it does. But what I saw in this mercenary hunter for the horn thing is I'm like, oh God, this is going to be another like Fael getting kidnapped. Yeah. Oh, I'm seeing the beginning of another subplot that I don't know that I care about.
Remember how much hold Gawain has with his like younglings, right? Like he has a small army himself.
Yeah, where is Gawain?
We don't know. But he has a small army. So once Gawain also gets to Caemlyn, she has like that helps strengthen her cause, and I think that will alleviate the fears of like the mercenaries and the hunters for the horn, because he will have people with him who are loyal to him, and also Brigitte wants him to be the captain of the guard so she doesn't have to anymore.
Oh my God.
But like that's gonna be a big
Remember
piece of it.
Egwene's trial? Do you think that the reason that Rand is bloody in the palace in Caemlyn is because he and Elaine go to war?
He and Elaine? I don't think
why would Rand be
Elaine.
Bloody in Caemlyn and Egwene have to show up?
I mean, the Black Tower.
What
could
if it's
revolt,
what? What if Gawain's the reason?
Maybe Gawain and Rand fight. Yeah. Although here's the thing, Rand would have to be severely incapacitated because Gawain doesn't have the one power. So.
Yeah, but Rand can barely. Rand is severely incapacitated.
Yeah, for sure. Darmok, thank you for that super chat.
Darmok, off work for the holiday. Happy Black Friday. So I'm happy to be able to be here live. Well, thank you. Welcome in.
Welcome on in. Nicholas as well. Thank you for that super chat.
White cloaks hate towards Aes Sedai. Is it merited? The more we learn about them, yeah.
Yeah, but the White Cloaks are also wrong.
Oh, their methods are terrible.
Like, both
their hatred is
are
understandable.
Wrong, yeah, but I can understand why they're like, yeah, maybe the Aes Sedai aren't the best people to be listening to, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, so...
Yeah, the accepted trial, because we still haven't seen...
What if Rand goes to Elaine, right? Upset because of her taking down his banners, her kicking his people out of Caemlyn. He's trying to give her the throne, and they're not fighting, like they're not at war, but they're yelling at each other. They have like a strong word with one another, something that Fael would get very turned on by, but Elaine is very upset about. And Gawain walks in on this, pulls his sword on Rand. Rand goes to channel, vomits all over the floor, and Gawain gets him in that moment.
Well, the thing is, Rand is buried under a pile of rubble, right? So the one power has to be used somehow. Like Caemlyn
That could be Rand in the moment after Gawain runs away with Elaine. Maybe. Elaine looks at him with hatred in her eyes. He loses it and collapses the tower on himself.
Here's the thing. We know that Rand is going off to cure the taint. Do you think that he achieves that before he comes back to Caemlyn? Because that makes a big difference as to what happens in that moment, right? And so I don't know. I don't know if Rand is going to risk going back before he cures the taint, because he is in a bad spot right now. He's having some problems.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think that's like kind of the pivotal
We
point.
haven't seen Gawain since
2 books ago?
The second chapter in the book after Dumai's Wells, right? What book was Dumai's Wells in?
6.
Was there an epilogue after Dumai's Wells? Yeah, there was.
6? Yeah.
We haven't seen Gawain since that epilogue when he comes across the Aes Sedai.
I don't believe so, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, right?
That was so long ago.
And here's the thing, I think Gawain's going to be incredibly important, but we just don't know where he is.
If he never comes back. We just we hear about the younglings a couple of times, but
never hear about Gawain.
No, he rides into Tarmangaden right at the end. He gets there and they're
shit, sorry, I'm here. I lost track of time.
The devil. No, we beat the devil. Where were you, Gawain? Where have you been? And he's like, I went to Miami. I had some Mai Tais.
Miami. Oh my god.
All right, we need to keep going because we're just talking about this, but very interesting stuff.
But all cool stuff that is going to be important at some point.
So we have an interruption by the sea folk, who I hope become
useful,
more interesting.
Their culture is interesting, but right now, they're just looking for Aes Sedai teachers.
They're really just complaining a lot. I find the sea folk to be a bit they're we're holding up our end of the bargain, and I'm like, what was your end of the bargain then? Because y'all have done nothing.
Well, their end of the bargain was using the Bowl of Winds and that whole aspect of it. But it is unrealistic of them to be like, hey, you promised us 20 teachers. I know there's only 6 Aes Sedai here, but we want those 20 teachers. And I was like, okay, you have one full-time teacher. Poor Meryl. Oh my god.
Yeah.
She's like a shell of a person right now. But I don't really know what they expect from her. Very clearly there's a lot of shit going on, and they're like, no, this is the most
important. Their ships are also under attack right now. Their people, they're literally we need more teachers. And I'm like, why are you here? Go home. Go take care of your people. Yeah. I'm slightly disappointed in them for not taking care of their people more.
Well, I don't know how, right? Elaine said they couldn't go back, right? Because Ebudar was taken, so they're dead.
But I'm like, that wouldn't keep me from my people.
You would just go off to die for no reason?
No, I wouldn't try and travel onto the ship, which is what Elaine said they couldn't do. But at this point, I would be like, I'm trying to figure out what they want and what their purpose is. And for me right now, they're like, we want to learn about the one power. And I'm like, look, there are really important things going on for our characters, for the rest of your people. And you're coming in here with a hot head of steam about something. It's a subplot that I'm like, what does this lead to?
Well, I think the hot head of steam is because they know that their people are dead and they can't do anything about it, right? They cannot risk traveling to Ebudar and having the Sanshin learn how to travel.
Sure, but then we also have the sea folk in the Rand part of the story that are also not doing anything. like functionally not. They're sitting there waiting for Rand to tell them what to do, I guess.
Well, yeah, because they promised Rand the ship, so they just need to wait till he says that they are needed.
This Seafolk thing has been going on for books, like literally like 4 books of this, and I'm just like, what is this? Why am I being given a million names? Why am I being told about all the ranks? Like, what purpose in the plot of these novels do these characters fit?
I think it's just building up to a moment when they like are necessary and crucial in the moment, right?
I really hope so. Because when they come in and they're like talking about stuff, right now, I glaze over a little bit. And I'm like, the Seafolk have been doing the same thing for too long in this story to not have like either been given a point of view chapter where we can actually learn about them instead of just getting the same. View, yeah. Here's what it is for me. We keep getting Outlander or Wetlander point of view of these characters that all have the same perspective of them. We keep hearing this character was shocked about the fact that they had rings in their noses.
They're so weird.
And this character was shocked about the fact that they had rings in their noses. And this character, and like it is, I think it's the repetition of that, without them having a function in the plot that isn't interesting to me anymore, because they show up. Everyone reacts, oh my god, Seafolk with the rings in their ears and their nose. And then the Seafolk make demands and are really pushy, and then they leave. And it's a cyclical thing that I'm like, I know where this is going. Because these characters, other than the Bowl of Winds, which was really interesting, these characters don't functionally add anything to the plot right now. And they will in the future, which is why this is important.
For sure, because Rand is going to call on them.
But, oh god, I would love a point of view so that I could just care. I just don't care. They show up and I don't give a shit.
I think that the most interesting part of the Seafolk stuff was when Elaine was on their ship making friends with the Windfinder, right? The Windfinder.
Oh no, they were interesting when they were introduced. 100%. But we're 2 or 3 books past Nynaeve getting married, and they're like, God, those Seafolk customs are weird. But
and we haven't learned. I know.
We never find out what they are.
Guys, I want to know what happened.
And that's the thing. We keep getting told how weird they are, and they don't seem that weird. They talk like Aes Sedai. They're demanding like the wise ones, and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, I want to care. I really want to care because I think that the concept, you know what it is like? It's like the Talakanil and the Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Oh, where you're like...
This is not a spoiler for the movie, but where they're shown to be really cool, and we get to learn so much about Namor, and I wanted to care about the rest of them.
The people,
And Renail is a cool character.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Seafolk at all.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I wish that I did. I wish I'd been given something to really latch onto with them, because they show up and I'm like...
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will get there, but it's probably not in this book.
Their desires just also don't seem to have anything to do with Tarmangaden. They're they think
they have their own prophecies that we just don't know a ton about yet, except that Rand is the Coromor.
Yeah.
Or they think he's the Coromor. It'd be interesting if he wasn't.
Yeah.
But so they barge in. They want some teachers, and Elena's like, okay, well, maybe one of these 2 Aes Sedai can grant you a couple hours a day to teach you. And then Mazrim Taim barges in. Everybody barges in.
Everybody barges in.
Which is hilarious because Dyellen is like, is everybody going to show up here? And I was like, that's what I feel like.
When she had that line, I thought Rand was going to show up. I thought that they were setting me up for Rand to walk into this room as well and see everyone there and be like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen.
This was a almost sitcom-y moment where I was like, I see what's happening here. But Mazrim Taim shows up with 2 buddies. And is like, I see you taking down the banners, harumph. And she's like, so you're going to let me in. You're going to show me the Black Tower. Because you're on Andoran land. Yeah. You're on Andoran land. And I'm going to be the queen. So you bow down, bitch.
Before that, though, but he does say that he has a gift for her.
Yeah. Which we don't find out what that is.
Unless I missed it. But what is the gift for her?
We don't find out what that is yet.
Oh, okay. Sex Buggy says this chapter should be called the one where no one knocks.
Literally.
Yeah. There is no Heisenberg in this chapter.
I don't...
You don't get that joke, do you?
No.
He is the one who knocks.
I don't. Yeah, I know. I don't know what the gift is.
I have to be so careful with my references with you because you have literally no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I have no idea.
Oh my god. So hopefully someone in chat thought that was funny.
Do you want me to play the badumts for you?
No, I don't need a rim shot for people to know I made a joke.
Well, I do, okay? Leave me alone.
I love you. I'm sorry, that was so salty.
I know.
That was so mean.
It's fine. I got you good this morning, so it's all good.
You got me good this morning?
Yeah, you were very upset downstairs. I can't remember why, but I was like, the door was open, and I just...
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't even remember what I said, but...
I don't remember either. Oh, because you were not paying attention to me. They literally have no idea what we're talking about now. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the gift that Rand has.
Oh, yeah. What is Mazrim Tame's gift?
Also, what the fuck would Rand trust to Mazrim Tame as a gift? Like, do you think it's actually from Rand, or do you think Mazrim Tame is fucking... No, I do not think it's from Rand. Yeah, I think Mazrim Tame is up in here fucking shit up.
But also, Elaine calls him Rand, and then is like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I guess. I didn't understand that part either.
It's about formalities, right? She doesn't want people to know her feelings towards Rand and that relationship. It also...
Yeah, because she's subtle about it.
Well, in front of other people, she has to maintain appearances.
Well, she didn't, so way to go, Elaine.
I guess.
So we find out that the Black Tower is 4 square miles. I'm assuming square miles, because it just says 4 miles walled off within Randland and within Andor, and I was like,
probably 4 square.
I don't think they just put a fence up for 4 miles. It's probably 4 square miles, and that they're not. Mazrim Taim was like, well, I don't have to let you in, and she's like, yeah, you do. Because we will stop food from coming in. And he's like, well, we can travel, so we can get food in.
And she's like, yeah, but it's going to be a waste of your time, so...
So she agrees to allow controlled visits. And she agrees to controlled visits because he's like, we wouldn't want any accidents. And she's like, yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, that's kind of sus, but okay.
And then before... they can fully finish this conversation.
Yep.
Nadir shows up.
And they get interrupted again because
it's time.
It is time. Ba, ba,
and this is
ba, 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 ba.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This is where I was like, this shouldn't be the prologue. This is a chapter of this book.
Oh, I know. I was like, this is so important. I don't know what's prologue, but all right.
And so because this is Robert Jordan, Elaine has to take off all of her clothes in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Because he can't help himself.
Yeah. And apparently neither can Mazrim Taim.
Yeah, so everyone turns around. Taim does the good guy thing where he gets the other guys to turn around, but then apparently he was having a little sneaky peek.
Yeah.
Which is very creepy, considering Elaine is like a child.
Well, yeah.
Threk, thank you for 10 months.
Welcome back to the nerd table.
Welcome back. And so, so they cover her up, which they wouldn't have normally done, but they were like, that Mazrim Taim was being a creeper.
Well, no, they were like, it's cold. Oh, you mean like stand around her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you meant like cloak.
In the book, they say, like, normally we wouldn't cover your nakedness, but that man was peeking at you.
Oh, I thought it was because it was cold.
I mean, they say in the book that it's because of the peeking, but...
Oh, okay. No, I thought they were like, it's chilly. It's like, all right, sure. But
no.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, no. Am I crazy? That's in the book.
No, I'm not sure. I didn't take too much stock into it, so it might have been that.
Chat will let us know in like 30 seconds when they catch up to us.
Yeah.
So we go to the ceremony of the First Sisters. Mm-hmm. And so they all hang out naked in a room together. Mm-hmm. And they slap each other in the face. Mm-hmm. Not at first. First, Amis joins them in their nudity, and she's like, I have had babies, and I have given the suck.
The suck is the weirdest fucking way you could put that. I was like, why?
Yeah, because it took me a second. I was like, wait, she's like given a blowjob?
No, the titties.
No, she had babies drink her milk.
Yeah.
But I was like,
yeah.
I read the suck and it took me aback from it because I was like, Amis. So in order to marry people as first sisters, you have to suck a dick? Like that, it really threw me off until my brain was like, no, you dum-dum.
Yeah.
No, you absolute hobnob.
No, I know.
Oh my God.
It was, something a weird way to put that. I also love how Robert Jordan has to make a comment that even though Amis has had children, it doesn't look like she's had children.
He's like, don't worry though, them titties is still perky.
Hot. Yeah, she's still hot as fuck. I'm like, okay, all right, Robert Jordan, calm down. I understand. Yeah, that was, I don't know why that was there. But yeah, she offers herself to give birth to Elaine and Avienda.
Which I thought was, this is such a cool ceremony. Like the idea that that someone has to feel the pain for them. Mm-hmm. And that like Amis is such a baller in this moment where she's like, yeah, childbirth, no big deal.
Yeah, whatever.
And if you want to read some pretty graphic naked women cuddling, you get it in this sequence. There's a lot of like, and then they laid their heads gently on her breasts, her barren breasts, and I was like, am I reading literotica? Like, have we gone full smut?
This is the closest we've gone, I think. Yeah.
We get closer in a couple of chapters. But yeah, Amis, you're a real one. This really, really fucking cool.
Yeah, this whole section was in the middle of it while I was reading it. I was kind of like, this is weird, and I don't know if this is necessary. But then by the end, I was like, oh, that was actually really cool. Like I had like goosebumps from it. I was like, as a bigger picture, the entire ceremony was it was laid out in a really fascinating way, especially the perspective that we get on it. And, you know, they didn't know that the One Power was involved until they sat down. I didn't know the One Power was involved. I think it was really cool.
Yeah, I could have done without them smacking each other as hard as they could. Because realistically, Avienda knocks Elaine the fuck out.
Oh, yeah. Elaine doesn't fight.
Like, Elaine has never been in a fight before. And Avienda's like stronger than a professional boxer. And
here's a problem as well. Elaine doesn't really know how to hit people without breaking their jaw.
Or without breaking her hand.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? That, like, when they were like, you guys are going to hit each other as hard as you can. I was like, what are you talking about?
All right.
Avienda could crush any woman in the MMA. You know what I mean? Avienda could walk into the UFC and probably take on like Ronda Rousey and another MMA fighter at the same time. And Elaine has never fought any. I don't think Elaine has ever gardened. Like her hands are so uncalloused that she probably smacks Avienda and it feels like getting tickled by a pillow. And Avienda, meanwhile, is built like a brick shithouse, can run 200 leagues at a sprint.
Yeah.
This is the most unfair fight in the history of the world.
I know.
And you know what? Elaine fucking takes it like a champ.
Elaine takes it and gives it back. And I was like, girl, I don't know where you learned that, but I'm happy for you.
Robert Parris says that everyone's like, it's an open-handed slap to the cheek.
You can still like dislocate somebody's jaw.
Google slap competitions. Seriously, just go look it up. I'm just imagining brutalize each other.
I'm just imagining How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
Slapsgiving. How fitting is that this is Slapsgiving?
I don't think you understand how hard someone's slapping you as hard as they can. Not like a quick one out of anger, right? Not like I'm talking about you don't understand. Like someone who is as strong as Avienda versus someone as weak as Elaine, it's not fair.
Apparently Elaine works out because Avienda hits the floor.
I was like, really?
Yeah. But so they fight one another and then they're like, well, remember when you're mad at her that you already hit her. I was like, okay, sure.
Joby1 Kenobi says she washed a lot of pots in the tower. Yeah, maybe.
Those calluses built up.
Malandio agrees. You can def knock out a dude with slap. Look.
Well, and that's that.
Having slapped someone across the face hard enough that in a rehearsal, in a way that like we almost came to blows over it, you can do damage. Also, you can box someone's ear and take their hearing out forever.
And that was the only part about it where I was like, This makes me a little bit anxious because you can actually do damage with the slap if you hit the ear, if you hit the jaw in the wrong way. Like,
I would have loved if someone had shown up earlier to teach Elaine how to slap.
So we know you're not an Aiel, okay?
That would have been the best scene.
Figure this out.
So you are gonna have to smack Avienda as hard as you possibly can.
I also love the little tidbit that oh my gosh, whatever her name is. And Melaine. Mm-hmm. Melaine is not there because her babies would accidentally be part of the ceremony. And I was like...
Yeah, that was interesting.
That's wild.
And the concern about Brigitte.
Oh, yes, they asked about the bond.
And even Avienda is like, oh, fuck, I had not thought about that. We didn't think about
this. Well, because I don't think Avienda knew that it involved the power either.
Mm-hmm. So this is the read and find out that our chat has been waiting for. Right? Uh-huh. This is why there are no threesomes among the Aiel.
Why not?
Because they're sisters.
Could you imagine?
No, because they're literally sisters now.
But not biologically.
Yes, that's what this does.
It changes their DNA?
Yeah, they're basically fraternal twins now. They sleep with the same man.
They can't get each other pregnant, so...
No. No, when chat was like, no, you'll understand when you get to it, there's no threesomes among first wives. This is why. They're not sharing a man.
It's boring.
Oh, no, I agree. It's less interesting. But, like, they're literally related. They've been born together.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. If you have that, like, light bond with somebody, I think that, like, orgasming together would feel great. I'm just saying.
And so...
What?
You're not wrong.
I know.
But I think that... I think I get where Chad is coming from. Do I think that threesomes still happen? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Some of them do, for sure.
Mostly because I know twins
being siblings
who have done that.
Yeah, doesn't stop
Not my brothers. I want to be very clear. I know a set of twins who I am not related to who do that together sometimes. Mm-hmm. And they are very into it, which I find Lestrange.
Yeah.
It's very Bellatrix Lestrange to me, but
it's Bellatrix Lestrange.
But yeah, I think that they're literally sisters.
Yeah, but not all sister wives are first sisters. So, like...
No, I think they are.
No, because you can share a man without you being first sisters, right? Like...
I don't think so. I don't think we've ever seen that. I don't think we've seen any evidence that you can do that without being first sisters.
You think that Roark's wives are both first sisters? Because I don't think that they are.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they've done that ceremony together. Oh, I 100% think that. I think that all of them...
Yasmin says not all sister wives are first sisters among the Aiel.
Okay.
Yeah,
WL says, ask Chris Rock how hard a slap can be. To be fair to Chris Rock, he took that like a champ.
Yeah,
He straightened back up and continued with his bit. It wasn't a great bit. Mm-hmm. But, like, he took it. And Will Smith is no slouch. Will Smith is not, like, an Elaine. Will Smith is more Avienda than Elaine.
If we get onto that, there's gonna be...
If you take a slap from Ali, and not that Will Smith is actually Ali, but he played him in a movie, I got respect for that.
That's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we get this really fucking cool ceremony that has a lot of, like...
I felt bad for Elaine. I feel like she should have gotten, like, 3 slaps for Avienda's 1, just to be fair.
Just to be fair.
I also like the moment where they're saying what's, like, the worst thing about each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, you have to, like, be brutally honest. If my siblings did this, we would beat the shit out of each other. But that's why we're not honest with each other. We tell white lies.
Yeah.
That's how you keep a real family together.
You make them feel better.
Little white lies.
You say it once, you get it out of the way, and then it's done. You know, you don't have to talk about it again.
Well, and the thing about the slap here that I kind of like is that they're like, you're going to want to beat the shit out of each other throughout your life together. Mm-hmm. So just remember that you've already done it and it's over. And I kind of like that. Like, I wouldn't do that in, like, a marriage, because I think it would be very weird to be like, okay, now hit each other. But, like, if I saw a wedding where that was a part of their ceremony, I think I would understand, even if I would disagree with it on this health is level.
Absolutely, like, an understandable ceremony. I get everything in it has its purpose, which is what I like.
How did you feel about the jealousy part where Elaine is like, Avienda got fucked and I didn't?
And then Avienda's like, Rand loves Elaine and not me. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, you guys are going to have some baggage to work through.
Good luck!
Good luck with that.
We still have 2 point of views in the
Yeah. So let's... I think that's... Oh, and the gobbling sweets. Guys, I am Elaine. I should have been cast in the show as Elaine.
Yeah, you really should have.
This is a travesty. But...
You would be better than Sierra Lynch. I'm just going to say it now. And I'm not biased because I'm your husband.
No, not biased at all.
And not because I want that money.
Yeah, no.
And, it's not that we need money right now with us. We got stuff going on, guys. And
don't worry about it.
Don't want to talk about it yet, but, we don't know what to do. It's going to be complicated.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
No, we're fine.
Well,
we'll be fine. Toveen is, dreaming about strangling Eleda.
As she should.
Yeah.
This was fascinating. Mm-hmm. It definitely leaned into the worst of what we were dreading about this storyline.
It definitely did.
Iljwama says, who had over an hour for the prologue? We're mostly going to talk about the prologue, because once we get into the 6 chapters, there's not a lot to talk about.
Yeah. The prologue is where all the heavy lifting is.
All of the most interesting parts of the reading this week are the prologue. Mm-hmm. The prologue is fantastic. Then the next 6 chapters are like... Dum, 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 dum,
yeah.
dum, 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 dum.
I'm not pregnant. I want to be very clear on that. That is not...
No.
What is... No.
No. Clarisse is 1,000% not pregnant. Never will be pregnant. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys.
My
boobies are going to stay like a Mises.
Says, is Nerdy drinking out of camera lens? Yeah, I am. This is not a real camera lens. It's a mug.
Cup that looks like a camera lens.
Yeah, this was a gift from my mom. When I first started to get into photography, she bought me this as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
As
it's a great mug.
And so to my mom, thank you.
Yeah.
This was Christmas a few years ago.
Guys, everyone wave and say hi to Trish in case she watches this.
She usually watches the beginning, but she never makes it. She won't be an hour in.
I was like, she might make it an hour in.
My mom likes to watch the first 6 minutes and then
she
be
gets working.
I gave it a I watched 6 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
Toveen has every reason to be upset because she is now bonded to Logain, and all of the women there are bonded. There's just a lot of bonded women. A lot of people commented on it last week and were like, what were they supposed to do? And I kind of felt like we laid that out.
Not bond them.
Do you think that Mazrim Taim is on Rand's side?
No.
I know, right?
No, there's
subtle... There's too many secrets.
Yeah, there's too many secrets. The subtle undermining of things. Right? There is stuff that Rand... Well, first of all, the reason Taim is is because he put 3 people on the traitor's tree that are Rand's people. He put Flynn, Narishma, and what's-his-face. He listed their names as traitors when they are not.
Yeah. Knowing
that Rand's never going to show up to know. Hopwell. Yeah, Narishma, Flynn, and Hopwell as traitors. And people are like, wow, that's so many traitors. And so Taim's very bad. Taim, bad boy.
I'm I don't know how I feel about it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what Rand does about the Black Tower if they're not on his side. They seem too powerful. And so now it seems like that...
And they're already divided into factions, right? Taim's got his people, Logain's got his people, and there's a bunch of other Ashman who also have their people. And it's Deus Daemar all over again.
Do you think Logain is on Rand's side?
Not at the moment. I think he's on his side, and I think he'll throw his lot wherever suits him best.
Yeah. I predicted long ago that Logain was going to come to the Black Tower, oust Mazrim Taim, and be the hero of the Black Tower. Yes,
which is the whole prediction of the crown, the glory.
I think I'm right. I think Mazrim Taim is going to be the new Forsaken. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I don't think that he'll be because I don't think that no, he's not gonna be Forsaken. Mm-hmm. He's gonna be, what are they called? What were they called in the last war? They have
companions?
No. The Aes Sedai that worked for the Dark One in the last war had a name. They were called oh my god, it's only been mentioned a couple of times, right?
I don't remember.
They were called the Shadow Riders or something like that. Dreadlords. Mazrim Taim will be the new Dreadlord. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? That makes sense. And then Logain is... So I think that, Logain versus Mazrim Taim is going to lead to, the Dreadlord faction of the Black Tower, and then the Logain faction who become the like Rand faction. I feel like Logain weirdly is the goodest of them because he wasn't raised by Tame. Whereas everyone else there has like allegiance to Tame that I think is really dangerous.
Here's the thing. Because of this section, Logain will never be redeemable in my eyes. And
because of the bonding?
Because of the rape.
Because
here's the thing. You know, the Aes Sedai says, "Oh yeah, no, I'm totally doing this of my own volition," but like we don't actually know that because we know that the Aes Sedai can compel their warders without them realizing it.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason that the men would be able to do that as well, and so Logain will never be redeemable in my eyes, even if he does help Rand. Like he's still terrible.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%. I'm not saying that he's. That's why my goodest was with a question mark.
For sure, because Tame is bad. Tame is bad for sure. Logain is bad, but at least might be working for Rand. And so, yeah, it's all kinds of fucked up.
Yeah, and it's you know it goes back to the same thing that I was upset about with the Halo TV show, where because sorry, spoilers, if you haven't seen the Halo TV show, don't watch it. It's very bad. I'm sorry if you liked it. I found that show to be just awful, but because it just misunderstood what Halo is supposed to be about. But there is an episode where Master Chief has sex with a prisoner of war. And you're like, that person is a prisoner in your compound. If you have sex with them,
it is still sexual assault.
It is still coerced in a way that is inappropriate.
Yeah,
right?
Because of the power dynamic and because of the bonding, it to me, this is rape. You guys can fight me all you want in the comments, but we don't know that it's consensual, and we can never know because of the bond.
But no, even if it's her choice.
Even if it's her choice, she's still her superior.
She's a captive.
She is a prisoner.
There is no way for her to truly consent in a situation where she is not allowed to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like that is not, like you can't keep someone trapped and then be like, well, no, but like they weren't allowed to leave.
Yeah.
And you know, if they didn't do it as I said, I would stop feeding them, but they wanted to have sex with me. You know what I mean? Like that line is blurred to the point where that consent isn't real. Like
victims of Stockholm Syndrome are still victims, right? Like they didn't want to be there in the first place, but there is a whole thing about Stockholm Syndrome, and like this is, I think, like similarly related to. I think that this Aes Sedai, I'm trying to remember her name. No, I passed it.
Darmok says, do you consider Green Aes Sedai marrying their warders to be rape as well? No, because
they consent to the bond.
If they don't consent to the bond, then yes, right? Like Rand, like Alana and Rand.
Yes.
There's so much non-consent in these books that it's getting a little bit tough, honestly.
Yeah.
This part of it is not my favorite, as we know from last week, but we're gonna move on. We're not gonna talk about it forever. I just want to say that, like, if the warders know what the deal is going into the bond and they agree to it, then no, right?
Yeah.
Like, I am committed to you in a way where, like, there are things I have to do for you that sometimes I don't want to, but we're married. And so, no, but I'm saying that, like, in a marriage, you're with someone for such a long time that there are at times things that, like, you have to choose your partner over what you want to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, there are times where your partner has to take precedence over your desires. And that is a part of the decision that I made to marry you. And I agreed to it, and I'm down for it, right? 1,000% I'm down for it. I love being married to you. You didn't marry me against my will and then expect these things of me.
No, yeah.
And so that is the difference, right? The Greens warders know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And they agree to it. They consent to that relationship, and that is how it is different. Now, if that Green is then abusing that relationship, then yes, it does become an abusive relationship. Yeah, then
it's fucked up. Yeah.
Right? And so it is not until the Greens abuse the relationship that it's a problem. The difference with Logain is that by taking them captive and keeping them prisoner, the power imbalance is at no point a choice.
Yeah.
None of the Aes Sedai in this compound have chosen to be there.
Yeah.
And so therefore anything that happens within that compound is in some way pushed upon them by Logain and by the other Ashaman.
Yeah, magically imposing your will on another person is taking away, like, it is taking away your complete freedom. And so, yeah, so that's why Logain will never be redeemable in my eyes. I think that this whole thing is gross, and what they're doing with the Aes Sedai, even though the Aes Sedai are wrong, you know, like they're not doing a great thing. They still, like, they're still the victims here. So
Nicholas Cadera says warders don't consent; they're chosen by Aes Sedai. They don't get to choose which Aes Sedai picks them.
We've been told that the warder bond is consensual. You pick your warder, and you like, they don't just go around the countryside pulling out random farmers and being like, "You're my warder now." Like, it's not really how that works.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's Yeah.
Especially because, like, Moiraine ran into Lan in, like, a bar.
Yeah,
and
they
then
found one
they
another.
Like came to that decision together.
Yeah. It's warders do know about the compulsion aspect because Lan knows about it.
Yeah.
So if Lan knows about it, that would be weird if he was the only person who knew about it.
I don't know. I feel like we've been very consistent on this. The passing of Lan's bond, we have a huge problem with.
It's
the
all
situation
weird.
with Tylan, we have a problem with.
Yeah.
Alana bonding Rand, we have a problem with. And then this with Logain, we have a problem with. We've been consistent across our opinions. If you got to this fourth version of this and thought we were going to take a different opinion than we did the last 3 times, I'm sorry. We're going to be consistent on this. There is so much non-consent in these books. It is kind of wild.
Yeah.
It is like...
Yeah, 100%. Monkey, welcome back to the Nerd Table. Our wonderful mod, we appreciate the heck out of you. A good thing to remember about these books is that when they were written, there was zero discourse about consent, especially in the fantasy genre. Absolutely. Like 100%. And it is harder to read older things. Because we're discussing it here and now with our lived experiences and what our views of right and wrong are.
Yeah.
And, so we're going to have a different opinion than when people did who first read it in the 90s, right? There's I think one of the coolest things about books that live on forever, which I think that the Wheel of Time in a sense will, is that there's so much to discuss about it, good and bad, right and wrong. Right? The author has things to say about it, and that's important. But yeah, this section was like, oh, please no, I really hoped we weren't gonna go here, and yet here we are, and it sucks, it's hard. But yeah, welcome back to the Nerd Table, Monkey.
I just want to be really clear. I want to move on. I want to say one last thing, and then I want to be really clear.
Yeah.
If you take someone prisoner, and then they choose to seduce you in order to have a better station in their imprisonment, you are still in the wrong and they're not.
Yeah.
If you say yes to sleeping with them in that moment.
Yep.
Yes, they seduced you because they were hoping for better treatment while they were imprisoned, but that person is no more liable for their actions in their imprisonment than they would be if they were unconscious when it happened.
Yeah.
The only way in which consent exists is when both parties have no power over one another, and that and that there's nothing to gain by it, right?
Yeah.
And like this is not a healthy dynamic, and I think that it's an important conversation to have. And yes, Robert Jordan was not having this conversation clearly, but also, we can't do this show in 2022 without acknowledging
talking about it. Absolutely, 100%. We can't glaze over that. It's a really important thing to talk about, and the more that we talk about it, the more that we all become better people and like grow and learn from this. And I agree with Bazemian, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I don't think, Robert Jordan is portraying it as like a good thing by any means. I think that
I don't think it's being portrayed as good. It's just, it's an uncomfortable thing that we have to talk about. It's an uncomfortable
thing that is meant to bring up discussion.
Because Tovanne is uncomfortable with it. Like, Gabrielle is saying that she is comfortable with it, but Tovanne isn't.
Like, what the fuck?
And I think Tovanne is the audience POV here, and Tovanne's point of view on it is correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't even think Robert Jordan is approaching it with the wrong point of view. Because even with the Thailand situation, Matt is very upset. Like, I think that Robert Jordan's point of view makes sense. I just think that he put a lot of it in these books. And it's just starting to happen a lot.
Baka Karn, thank you for that super chat. Can boys that know little to nothing about the one power give informed consent to be bonded? If sex occurs after being bonded, is it consensual? That's a tough thing now.
That is a question that we would have to read about those relationships to have a point of view on. But a hypothetical boy in a hypothetical warder bond that we don't understand the dynamics of, I can't comment on because that's like, you can what if anything, right?
Right now, the information that we have is that warders know about the compelling.
Yeah.
Lan knows about it. And so our perspective on this is that the warders know what they are getting into and that they consent to it, and that bonding someone against their consent is considered a very, very, very terrible thing to do in the tower, which is one thing that the tower does right. And so that's kind of the only perspective that we have on this like hypothetical situation, right?
And look, I think that it's an appropriate conversation to have if you have details about that relationship. And here's the thing: if the warders are being bonded without being given the full details of what it means to be bonded, then I find that horribly inappropriate.
Yeah, then that is also a problem. We will discuss if that comes up.
I think that if you bond someone without fully giving them the information, that is as bad as what Alana did to Rand.
Exactly.
And like, I'm glad that Alana hasn't been in these books and that she's always far away, because I don't want to talk about her. What she did is gross. And every time she shows up, it's just, oh yeah, it's the lady who did the really gross thing to the young man. This 60-year-old woman did this awful thing to a 19-year-old. Yeah. Like, if you really think about it, Alana fucking sucks, right?
Yeah.
And so it's better that she's not around because I don't want to talk about it. But no, I agree with you 100%. If the people consent to the bond without the knowledge of what the bond is, that is 100,000% inappropriate.
Yeah.
We just don't know that is what is happening. So I don't know how to like comment on like the what if of it.
Yeah, for sure. Glenn Peterson, thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it. I reacted very negatively to Robinson Crusoe because of the line, "I will call you day of the week and you will call me master." Instantly hated the book.
I've never read Robinson Crusoe, so I don't know.
I haven't either.
What you're referencing, but I understand it.
But that's fair. That is very off-putting. And sometimes you just want to read some fantasy and not get into it. But these books are not light like that. And so these are the discussions that, we have to have here. And I hope you guys are along for the ride. I think we've said all we need to say about that.
Let's move on to Rand.
Section. Is there any information in that section? Because we do see Tovine see Elaine come by, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but nothing, like, she's there with Brigitte, like, nothing really happens.
Yeah, we don't learn a ton other than, the Ashmand are divided amongst themselves in such a way, so... yeah. Oh,
Relaine, thank you for your discussion on this. Thank you for your super chat.
Relaine, thank you.
And look, I know we went on and on about it last week, and so we're trying to move on, but it's important to keep having these conversations because it's in the books, and I want to discuss these books from a 2022 perspective and be honest about our feelings.
Yeah. 1,000%. We were just here to be honest with you guys.
All right. Rand's point of view. Rand is meeting with the brain in Kyrian, but not where you think. He's in Herod Fell's old place because I was about to call her Mindy. Because Mindy Kaling likes books. Mindy Kaling is here trying to get more books to read because she's a voracious reader. Someone should give her the Wheel of Time. It would really help Rand if he could see what was coming. Yeah. If Min could read the Wheel of Time in the Wheel of Time, they would win automatically. So Rand tells Dobrain, because Dobrain is like, Allele and the Seafolk official are missing. And Rand is like, oh yeah, Cadsuane probably has them. Why is Cadsuane kidnapping people? I don't know. I was very confused. Like, why is Cadsuane holding people against their will? I don't know. Maybe they're plotting together. I don't know. Here's the thing. If Cadsuane knows that Allele is against Rand and she has kidnapped Allele to maybe sway her in support of Rand, that's the only reason that I can think of, but I genuinely don't know. 100%. 100%. Cadsuane is kidnapping people. And you know what? Cadsuane isn't in this week, so we don't know why. Cadsuane was also with the rebels. Look, I get that people like Cadsuane, but like, I need some explanations about why Cadsuane seems to be cavorting with Rand's enemies pretty frequently. I need an explanation about this because I'm getting to the point where like, I trust her as much as I trust Mazrim Taim at this point. Yeah. She was at that rebel camp doing we don't know what. It didn't seem like she was working for Rand. And now she's kidnapping and holding his enemies hostage, but like maybe cavorting with them. Like, I just want to know what Cadsuane. I just want to know something about her because right now she's a mystery and also is just the greatest person ever. She's doing something, and like, and I we'll find out. We'll I know, but this has been like 3 books now. Yeah, this is Robert Jordan. I think that this is where I just keep coming back to. Is I just keep being like, where is this going? Yeah. I was hopeful we would tie up a few ends in this book, and we got some really interesting stuff in the prologue. But I think like if where this book is going, if where I think this book is going is correct, I think we are going to get a bit of resolution here. On what though? Well, in terms of Massima
and Perrin. We seem to be spending a lot of time with them. I think that I think we're gonna get something.
You are optimistic.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I appreciate you noticing that. Yeah. So I don't know, Cadsuane, definitely a little sus. I think that that's fair.
Monkey says, because she can. If you could walk into the enemy's camp and they wouldn't do anything, wouldn't you? But they're not her enemies.
Well, they
Monkey.
are now. Yeah, she's.
No, they're not.
Yeah, she is on Rand's side. She is
Says
team
who?
against Dark One.
But that does not mean that she's on Rand's side.
Well, I mean, she's like, otherwise she wouldn't be with Rand. Like, why?
But she isn't with Rand because he will not let her.
He keeps leaving.
No,
That's on
because
him.
she keeps behaving the way that she does.
Look,
she has her chance to agree to be a part of it, and she behaves the way she does, and he leaves, and now she doesn't know where the fuck he is because he doesn't trust her.
Yeah.
And that's her fault because he tried.
I still stand to what I said before. Cadsuane is going to be the one who helps cure the taint. So I think Rand's going to run around, and then it's going to be like, shit, okay, we need Cadsuane for this.
But then how much time is he going to spend running around and then just go back to where he started and do it from, like...
We don't know yet. We'll find out. Well, we'll find out, I am sure.
So okay. Mm-hmm. So then he gives Dobrain a document and names him the steward in Kyrian. How many people have had to run Kyrian for Rand at this point?
What do you mean?
Rand has passed around who is running Kyrian like every half book at this point. Because Berlain was running Kyrian, Ruark was running Kyrian, Dobrain is now running Kyrian.
I mean, yeah, I
Rand
guess
took over Kyrian and is like, you, it's me, it's you. So, and if I was Kyrian, and I'd be like, who is it this week?
All right, who do I report to? Yeah.
Who the fuck is running Kyrian?
Yeah, who do you think the other packet is for?
I think it's I was saying it's Kalendor, but why would he hand Kalendor off?
Packet? No, who is it for? You said to give this to somebody.
I don't know. I don't know.
You get a Kyrian. I don't know who it's for either. Because who would Dobrain be the most likely person to run into before Rand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I genuinely am not sure.
I do like that they're looking out the window and there's a guy inventing the train.
I know, the steam engine.
He's like, it's a steam car. Oh, there's literally a guy in the parking lot making trains.
I know. Honestly, I loved that. It was great.
Do you think that there's like a railroad in Randland by the time these books wrap up?
A rail? Maybe. That's how they get like
That's how they fight Tarmangaden
with a train.
And then we get a train heist. Does this series become like Wild Wild West?
Oh my god, I hope.
And then the Dark One shows up in a spider mech.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know who that packet is for, to be honest. I've tried to come up with a guess, and I have literally no idea. Do you know what order Dobrain got about the Academy? Because I am.
Keep funding it? I don't know. This was a lot of, like, stuff that we'll tell you in 3 books.
It's one of those things where I think maybe because Herod Fell was killed, that maybe it's an order about if someone is researching the prophecies of the dragon, or maybe like the male half of the source, that maybe to like inform Rand and like let him know. But that was the only guess I had about what the order was.
I do appreciate that Min is like, oh, so they travel away. And Min is like, oh, we're just doing random shit to lead false trails. And Rand's like, you got it.
You got it, you eyes of an eagle.
And she's like, what are we doing? And Rand is like, same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world!
We cleanse the taint.
We're gonna cleanse the male half of the taint. And Min's like, sure, whatever. As long as you keep giving me that good bone, I'm down.
Guys, we called this, like, book 2. We're like, they're gonna have to cure that taint thingy.
Oh my god. Guys, an hour and 22 minutes to get through the prologue.
What if, okay, hear me out. What if they go back to the Eye of the World?
Back. We're not through the prologue yet.
We're not through the prologue. What if they go back to the Eye of the World? Because there is a clean pool of untainted...
No, there isn't. There's nothing there. It's just empty.
What do you mean?
Rand used it all.
Did he use it all?
Yeah. It's just an empty pool.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, all of the power that was there, he used up, and it's just empty.
Fuck,
or maybe that's only in the show.
Cool idea. Actually, yeah, I don't remember if it was emptied in the books.
No, wait, there is no pool in the show. So it must, no, it was emptied because then they go down, and that's where they find the seal and the Horn of Valir. Because wasn't that, like, hidden under the pool of... the source?
No! Okay, fuck. I was like, but that's how they're gonna cure the taint. Never mind.
All right, and that's everything interesting this week. So we'll see you guys next week.
have the world to go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Chapter 1, Leaving the Prophet. That's all that happens in this chapter.
Yes, Perrin and his...
The title is literally...
They go back to the camp.
This was the most... Like, if there wasn't a prologue on the book, this would have been a terrible way to start the book. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is a nothing burger of a chapter.
Yeah.
Other than... Okay, I take that back. The first page of this chapter is incredible. This, like, sweeping kind of narrative... It was like having a camera sweep across from the ocean into the country they're talking about through and, like, showing everything, but narratively, and it's really well written. The first, like, page is so cool, and then it's like... Perrin is now going to describe the manner in which he runs into people as he leaves town. Yeah. And I was like...
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool.
So then we get chapter 2.
Well, no, we should note Balwer does
have some information. That is fair. That is fair. Balwer coming in clutch. He hates Valda, and you'll love to see it.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, I have news. One is maybe important, and one is maybe urgent. All right, I like how you categorize. It makes sense.
So, interestingly, the White Cloaks and the Sanshin fought. The king is dead, or captive, one of the two. And the White Cloaks have been pushed towards them, which is danger.
Danger.
And what was the other bit of news?
Well, the urgent one was that... No.
Oh, the Sanshin, the Sanshin fought in Altara and lost.
Yes.
And Perrin doesn't know that that's against Rand. But Perrin is like, Rand knows about the Sanshin, so maybe Perrin thinks that that's Rand?
Yes, but then, sorry, the other piece of news, did he say that the Sanshin lost and was
That's what I just said.
To Ebudar? Sorry, I thought you said that they...
That is the thing yep.
Okay, sorry.
The funny thing is you agreed with me as I was saying it.
I thought you said that they won, that they killed the king.
Okay.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, so he finds out about Altara and they got pushed back to Budar. And Perrin has flashbacks to Dumai's Wells and doesn't want to repeat Dumai's Wells.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Chapter 2, Taken. Guys, why did no one tell me that Liam Neeson shows up in Winter's Heart? He's got a particular set of skills. It makes sense.
He's going to get Fael back.
What if they get Liam Neeson to play Elias? Can you imagine how cool that would be?
I mean, yeah. I don't think Elias
He's got a particular set of skills.
James,
thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for that super chat.
Have an amazing stream, guys. As always, you guys rock. I'll watch after work. Have you seen the old cover art for this book? Thoughts? Yeah, it's in our thumbnail. And it looks like Pip from the end of Eternals. The character that if you go to the post-credit scene for Eternals and you go to the cover art for the original cover of this book, it looks like Marvel stole the design from this book for the character that Patton Oswalt voiced in that post-credit scene.
Incredible. All right. James, thank you for that super chat. We appreciate you.
Oh, Elias has already been cast.
Yeah,
He's Cassian's dad?
But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Cassian's dad.
Oh, from Andor? He's
Clem?
Clem?
Wait, Clem is Elias? Good for Clem.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
He was great. He was actually like really good in
the 3 scenes.
He has like 3 scenes in the whole season, and he's good in all of them. Like,
oh yeah, he's
that's
fantastic.
Exciting. I did not realize that was the same person. Liam Neeson as Hopper.
Oh my god.
Because he plays Aslan and Hopper is Wolf Jesus. That is so funny.
Liam Neeson was Aslan?
Yeah, wasn't he in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Wasn't that Liam Neeson's voice? Are you okay?
Is it? I did not know that.
Gary Beadle. Dope. That's cool.
Now I need to know. I'm just waiting for chat.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure.
That's so funny. What? I did not know that. Okay, anyways. It doesn't matter.
Robert Power says it's unclear if Fael will even be in the show yet. I don't think that's unclear. There's no way they cut Fael. Although they haven't cast her in season 2.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Although, wait, no, Fail didn't... When did Fail... What book was Fail introduced in?
Oh my god, it was. I can't. She was introduced in book 3, right?
Was she?
I think it was
When
book
did
3.
they find Fail? Oh my god. There's so much. I'm like trying to remember the order of the plot of these books.
They find Fail with Moraine. When Perrin is with Moraine...
Oh, right. Yeah. No, when they go to, she goes to Tyr with them.
Yeah. Book 3.
Yeah. I remember now. Because she rides, she rides into Tyr with them.
Okay, gotcha. So so Perrin shows up and everybody's like almost
Wait, but they haven't cast Fael for season 2 yet.
Yeah, so she might just not be there till season 3, like... It might just...
I don't like
might
that.
Show up some other way, right?
If they end season 2 in Tyr, I feel like...
Maybe she's episode 1 of season 3.
Oh, Rafe said she would likely be in season 3. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that would make... Like, you could justify that.
I'm at the point now where I'm like, there's a lot of these middle books that the show can cut, and I'll be okay with it.
Well, yeah, I remember when we were talking about the show, and we were like, how are they going to condense these things into this many seasons? And now I'm like,
yeah, condense. Condense away.
I get it.
Cut as much as you want.
Well, no.
Of the side plots. There's so... I'm not gonna lie. There are so many characters that you can merge.
It would be... For those of you who are upset with Rafe changing things, some things I get. But, like, it is impossible to keep everything that is in these. Like, there's just no way.
I wouldn't. Like, we're at a point now where, like, there's a lot that I would cut...
Yeah, but even if you were...
Because it's not very interesting.
Even if you were going after a, like, accurate representation... You still can't. Like, you literally cannot. So
it would be the most expensive thing ever.
Yeah. It would be more expensive than Rings of Power.
I think Bane, Chad, and Gaul are cut. I don't think they make the show.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't really see a point to them right now.
Yeah.
They're just kind of with Perrin and Fael. Like, I just think that they're pretty easy to get rid of.
I'm with Yasmin. Cut as much as you want and give us the Lennive wedding.
Yeah, like, you can't cut that for the show, right? Like, and, like, that's what's so weird about the books is that we'll spend, like, this whole chapter with, like, Perrin walking out of town, doing nothing, like, just literally leaving a city.
Yeah.
But we cut Len and Nynaeve's wedding. Like, it's just, Robert Jordan made weird choices on what to look at.
You took that away from us.
I know.
So Perrin shows up, and everybody's almost at blows. And he's like, the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And Berline's like, your wife's been kidnapped. And Aleander's people are like, it was Aiel that did it, so it must be the Aiel that you have as well. We should torture them for answers. And I'm like, buddy, how? Okay. Calm the fuck down. And Perrin is like, no, go sleep it off.
Yeah.
You're being stupid. Like, I was like, why would you? Anyways. So there's a couple people that head off to go look.
WL, thank you for buying a Narg Smart shirt.
You're a smart Narg. Elias goes off to look for Fael.
What?
I know, right? And then...
so do the warders, so do the Aiel.
The warders go with, yes.
Yeah.
And then Perrin goes to the Aiel, and Gaul leads the maidens. Like, they're, like, letting him lead, and he's like, we're leaving right now. We're gonna go find them. And Perrin is like, oh, right. It makes sense that Bane and Chiad were there, and I know he doesn't give a fuck about Bane, but Chiad, he's gonna go find... And I love that the maidens would never, like, let him lead in any other circumstance, but now they're like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they would let him lead in other circumstances. I think that this is a moment where Perrin doesn't understand how the Aiel work. I think that Perrin thinks that there is more contention among the... Perrin seems to think that, like, the Aiel hate Gaul, and they don't.
No, it's like a...
Yeah.
Rivalry, like a friendly rivalry.
It is kinder than Perrin understands it to be.
I think so,
Perrin thinks they're, like, about to come to blows, and they don't understand that they're, like, ribbing each other like siblings.
Yeah. I will be sad if Gaul gets cut, though. Like, that will be a little disappointing.
I just think that you replace Gaul with, like, a Shinarin that we've already met. Because you just don't need any of the... Because, like, you don't need to tell the Aiel storyline across 3 storylines. And so you keep all of the Aiel to one storyline. And you...
I doubt they'll do that.
Have Perrin... Or Aram. You get Aram and Perrin traveling around, but you just cut the extra person. Because Aram... You can put all of Gaul's like story except for the Aiel stuff into Aram and just like condense it down to that character who you've already cast, who's a great actor,
maybe,
and like has to be there anyway for like the whole Tinker with the Sword thing, which I think does have to be.
That's gonna be important.
And I think that because they've shown it already, that you just do that, right?
But, yeah, he's already there.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. So,
where were we?
The Aiel head off to go find Fael.
Yeah.
Oh, Grady and Neil, they're like, hey, we can help go look for Fael, and he tells them no.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, right? He's like, yeah, you guys can travel, but you guys don't. Yeah. It's not to pop in and out of places isn't helpful.
Yeah.
Especially because in them doing that, they will leave traces that could throw off the actual trackers.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
If he got like ahead of the Aiel and there's like, there's footprints here, this makes no sense. They come out of nowhere. Yeah. That would be weird.
And so their version of helping doesn't actually help in this instance.
Yeah.
So I actually agreed a lot with Perrin there.
Yeah, no, I think it was the right choice. And hey, they might need the one power.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the like fingers on the veil and then touching Perrin's shoulder means? Is it just sympathy or is it like a promise?
I don't know if it's a promise, but
it was just the Aiel don't have a lot of customs where they touch one another, and so the fact that they like did like the like, because I think they say it's 3 fingers, right?
Yeah.
Because they do the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And they touch him.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they like placed that on him felt like it had a deeper meaning to it.
Yeah.
And all of the maidens do it on their way out. Like it felt like it meant more than just a like sympathetic gesture.
That's fair. Honestly, I didn't like read too much into it, but you say that and I'm like, oh yeah, everything that Aiel do is fairly purposeful, so.
Nicholas Cardillo, thank you for that super chat. Welsh actor Julian Lewis Jones was cast as Bail Doman. Yes, he was.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And he is attractive. That was a while ago, though. That was like 2 months now, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
You know what? He was cast around the last time we saw Ship Captain in one of the books. So thanks for that, Robert Jordan. Maybe I would be less salty if my favorite character actually showed up.
If Ship Captain was back, I agree.
We haven't seen him since Fires of Heaven.
I know, it's sad.
Yeah.
He's still experiencing his own Fires of Heaven.
Him and Aegeanin have been boning this whole time.
It's like a really long honeymoon, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We have to remember that he had the collar for Rand, because it was so... Oh, it's not a collar for Rand anymore, though. The last time we saw that black collar for male channelers...
They threw it in the ocean, yeah.
Well, we don't know what happened to it, but they were leaving to go throw it in the ocean.
Oh,
we never actually saw them do it.
Oh.
But when the last time we saw that, there were no other male channelers. Now, there's so many. Holy shit. The last time we saw Ship Captain was before Mazrim Taim came to Andor.
Yeah.
That is so fucking long. This series is nonsense. How have we not resolved anything?
Yeah. Do you think that Samael found that collar?
I don't know.
Because he told Savannah that he has a way to, like, control Rand.
Yeah, but that could be, like...
Totally. But maybe... I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Aegeanin is a dark friend.
Oh my god, I can't believe that was 4 books ago. It was like 4 or 5 books ago we saw Ship Captain.
So we get to chapter 3.
Or is that everything that happens in chapter 2? No, he rides up onto the ridge. No, this is important. He rides up onto the ridge with Talonvor, and they both stand there in the snow looking out.
For hours, yeah.
For the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into why that ends up being a fucking nightmare. But first, we have to go to chapter 3, Customs. So, remember when I said we weren't going to talk at length about how women are treated in this series?
Yeah, nothing happens in this
We're going to skip over it.
Chapter.
We're just going to mention it. I didn't need the extended nude spanking scene.
Yeah, we didn't need it, and that's all we're going to say on it.
No, that's not all we're going to say on it, because Robert Jordan doesn't understand cold.
Oh, yeah.
This is fucking preposterous.
They would be dead. They'd be so dead.
This is fucking preposterous.
Okay.
Their limbs would fall off and shatter at this point.
I'm like, okay, maybe it's only like -2 degrees, but even still, if you're outside without any clothes on,
no, the snow is knee deep.
Well, that's what I mean.
It is not -2 degrees.
I was trying to justify it by saying maybe the temperature is bad, but there's a lot of snow. But yeah, it's
the snow is 2 feet deep. These women are dead. There is simply no way that you can survive walking from morning to afternoon outside in the snow, fully nude, and repeatedly falling into the snow, getting it on your whole body.
I honestly thought that this is where Robert Jordan was going to kill a character. Like, I genuinely was reading this and I was like, shit, someone's not going to make it. But then they all do, so it doesn't.
Oh, and they're all fine. Yeah. But, like, their toes are gone. Mm-hmm. Like, you can maybe go 2 hours. Maybe. Yeah. If it's warm, but there's snow on the ground. Uh-huh. But if it's cold...
If it's a Canadian winter, like...
But no, not even a Canadian winter. If it's cold, if there's snow, and you're walking through snow, and the wind makes it colder, then... They're fucked. Like, their fingers, they're all losing at least a finger. You know what I mean? Like, there's simply no way.
I agree with you. Dakuna said Vietnam didn't have snow. You can tell. Sorry, that was very good. Well done.
Very funny.
Yes. So, I agree. Let's just move on to chapter 4. There's not much there.
Well, and then they get
keep going.
I'm moving on. They get to the bonfire, and the guy Shan dude is like, oh, they dishonored you by covering you up. And I'm like, that's not how fucking cold... You can't just kill Guy Shan. That is, like, very much a no-no.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been worse if they let the Guy Shan die while in their care.
Murdering them by forcing them to freeze to death? Like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Aren't you supposed to take care of your Guy Shan like pets? And they do. They carry them. They ultimately carry them because they cut their feet or whatever. But, like...
Yeah. And they heal them, right? So nobody loses any toes. But yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, I think someone's about to die. And then they didn't. So
Kieran says, Aiel may survive a few days. Wetlanders are dropping like flies for sure. Okay, no. And this is a point of contention I have with this section of the book as a whole. Mm-hmm. How are the Aiel at all capable of surviving this? Do you know how hard it is to survive in the snow in a forest?
Here's the thing. It's not the cold that seems weird to me. Obviously, it gets cold in the waste at night. Like, they know how to deal with extreme temperature changes. But yeah, the snow aspect of it, I feel like it should be more of a hindrance on the Aiel who've, like, never experienced it before.
They should be dying. But the Aiel should be... Like, I had to go to special camps as a Boy Scout to learn how to camp in winter.
In Canada,
because it's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Camping in the snow is really hard.
Yeah.
And surviving... Like, the Aiel should have no idea how to find food. Mm-hmm. They should have literally no idea how to keep their feet dry. Mm-hmm. The most important thing in the winter is not keeping yourself warm. It's keeping your feet dry. Because if your feet get wet, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
The Shido... Like, these people have never seen snow before. And... Yeah. They have knee-deep snows. Like, if you've never been in knee-deep snow, I don't think, like, you can understand how difficult that is to live in.
Yeah, I don't think Robert Jordan was concerned about the snow aspect of it. He's like, it's winter.
And it's just...
didn't, you know.
100%, yeah.
Snow ain't got shit on plot armor. Yeah, that's kind of...
And I'm not saying that they're weak. I'm just saying that, like, it is an entirely different way of having to look at how to survive. Mm-hmm. And all of their clothing would be built around keeping you cool.
To be honest, I thought that the Shido would get wiped out by the winter, by the snow. Like, I thought that would be a plot point where they do not understand how it works, and they do not care to adopt any kind of wetlander... attire or ways of being or whatever, and so that I thought that the winter would just wipe them out, and maybe it will, but...
Bearzerger says, nerdy Eurosoft Wetlander, Aiel are beyond such mundane concerns.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels like.
I promise you that if you gave me a real Aiel, like if you planted one from the desert of the waste into Canada, and you asked me and that person to go into the waste in Canada in the middle of February, I will be fine, because I grew up here, and I've camped... My senior year of high school, I drove to Alaska and spent a weekend by myself in the woods before I graduated. It was like a thing that I wanted to do. It was very weird.
Yeah.
I know how to survive here because I've done it. And that's why I know these Aiel are so screwed.
Yeah, it is one of those, like, oversights where Robert Jordan's like, you know what, we're not gonna bother with it. And I was like, okay, all right.
These women are just naked outside in the snow for hours. They're fine.
Yeah, whatever. That lake was totally frozen.
Well, but then what's funny is he clearly, like, did enough research to, because what's her face? Fail has a line where she's like, it's when the toes go black that you know that there's a problem. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, your toes would have gone black
when they go
4
numb.
fucking hours ago.
Yeah, when you lose feeling. Well, and that's the thing is like, if it was me, give me 30 minutes and I'd be dead, right? Like my circulation.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyways, chapter 4 is called Offers, and
no, there's a couple more things. Chapter 3 we have to talk about.
Oh, well, because they do get the tea and...
They get the tea and they meet Galena.
Yeah, they do meet Galena.
Galena is, because Aleandra's an idiot. And she's like, I'm Queen Aleandra. And they're like, is this person actually queen? And Galena's like, well, I met her once. Which goes back to why I think that someone should have fucking recognized Megden in Parents' Camp. But, because if Galena recognizes Aleander, then one of the Aes Sedai with Perrin should have recognized
Here's the thing.
The Queen of fucking Andor.
She doesn't recognize her. She says, I saw her when she was very young. She could have grown up into this woman. That is plausible.
But this is my point, though, is that, like, if the Aes Sedai are, like, meeting queens and shit, although actually, no, because Galena doesn't recognize Megden, which is super weird.
I don't know. There's too many Aes Sedai.
But Galena, of everyone who would know Morghese,
yeah.
Galena should be number 1. There's no way that Galena didn't visit Aleida in all the years that she was in Andor.
Why?
Because she runs the Red Aja.
Yeah, but maybe they don't like one another. I don't know.
I don't buy it. Like, Galena should know who the Queen of Andor is.
Maybe she does recognize her and we don't know it yet. Morghese is Clark Kenting. Yeah. She puts on the glasses and she's
Andy Neal 79, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much for that super chat.
It's Magic Snow from Glinda the Good Witch.
Perfect. Good
news! Good news!
Yeah,
Galena would have met Morghese.
I mean, Galena obviously
There's no way
knows
she did.
Aleida, but...
Aleida's been there for, like, 16 years. Like, Galena would know who Morghese is. Mm-hmm. It is very strange to me that nobody recognizes this woman. And she keeps meeting people who I'm like, it's reasonable that they've met. Galena is the most reasonable for her to have met.
Unless Galena never goes anywhere, right? If she is, like, the head of the Red Aja, she might never leave the tower and just let her spies do everything.
Aleander from Gildan?
She said she saw her one time when she was a baby.
You cannot get from Tarvalon to Gildan without going through Camelin.
I'm just saying we don't know whether or not she recognized her yet.
Yeah, we don't.
She does call her Wilder, like she does yell at her and be like, shut up, Wilder. But that's about it. I don't know. I feel like it just goes to show, like, the cockiness of the Aes Sedai.
I know, it's just so strange to me that everyone keeps meeting Morghese. And everyone is like, nah, don't know her.
Yeah.
She was only the Queen of Andor. Whatever. Not a big deal.
Oh my god.
All right.
Fail does mention that the Shido have already broken so many customs that, like, you might not get to leave after your year and a day.
Yeah.
Which is concerning because I feel like that's pretty accurate.
And the one guy, Shan, is like, no, I only have a half a year left. I know what's going to happen.
And you're like,
Well, no, the jewelry is only on Savannah's
guy Shan. Yeah, I was like, you fucking fuck. Like,
they have collars. It's so weird.
I know. Savannah is the worst.
This whole chapter is just weird kink shit from Robert Jordan. It doesn't really move the plot forward. Like, the next chapter does. We finally actually, in chapter 4 of this book, we actually... I guess chapter 2, we kind of get, like, Perrin setting everybody to go look for them.
Yeah.
But chapter 4 actually has, like, plot, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, setting up, like, why this is happening and, like, getting into something that I care about, which is what people want. Like, the first 3 chapters of this book are a little bit functional.
Yes. Yeah. They serve a purpose, but they're not particularly riveting to read. I think that's fair to say.
But then we get to chapter 4... Offers.
Yeah.
This shit gets crazy. Yeah. I like this chapter a lot.
I love that Savannah has giant boobs and all the people around her have giant boobs as well. Like, it's very much emphasized that, like, holy shit, the bosom that is falling out of that blouse is, like, ungodly. I'm like, all right, boobies.
Does Robert Jordan's wife have massive tits?
Maybe. I don't know. I've never seen...
I don't want to, like, Google it because I feel like that's creepy, but I just feel like she must, right?
Or maybe it's the opposite. And he's like,
can you imagine
the boobies.
being his wife and reading his books and being like...
all the titties?
Just like your own insecurities written across 14 books by your husband.
Okay, no. That would be so sad. I hope that that's not the case.
I hope so too. That's such a sad version of life.
No, let's not.
Just like going to bed at night being like, I know he wants me to have bigger tits.
No, stop that.
They were bestsellers. If she wanted bigger tits, she could have afforded them.
Yeah, but then...
Although, actually, I don't know how good implants were in the 90s. So maybe
not great.
Actually, I think that this is the first book that was written in the 2000s.
This
So
one?
I think that we have finally crossed into the year 2000.
I've been to the year 3000.
Summarin is number 2 in boobage, I believe.
Summer is number 2 in boobage.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that we have a boobage like ranking. Somebody has made that ranks video.
I know that she edited them. I just don't know if she was big into acknowledging her husband's big titty kink.
Yeah. Maybe they both like big titties and they both just like commiserated over it.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Oh, what if she added all the boob stuff in? What if she was like...
She's like, okay, but like these person's boobies though. I would love that. That would...
I would love if Robert Jordan, there was like a letter that he wrote that came out posthumously that was like, I didn't want so much kink content in the Wheel of Time, but my wife insisted that it would help the book sell well.
My wife was like, okay, but what if? Hear me out. You add this.
Here's the thing. If I wrote a book, I would add a bunch of like big titty stuff into it too, but I'm a documented pervert. Like everyone would be like, oh yeah, Nerdy's kind of a...
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so...
Oh yeah, Nerdy wrote sex stuff? That makes sense.
I want someone to like literally do like a ranking video of like boobies in the Wheel of Time from largest to like almost as large.
Savannah has to be number 1, right? Thailand and Savannah.
Definitely like up there. But remember Thailand had that maid who had like honkers that like Matt was like, wowie, you know, like...
Honkers?
I don't fucking know. There's only so many times you can say boobies.
Halima also have Matt, but those are fake.
Well, yes. They are... It is a fake body, so...
She's hashtag fake body on TikTok.
Do Ogier have boobs? That's a good question.
Oh, those would be honkers.
If we're going in like comparison, like in regards to like the shape of the body, maybe they wouldn't be like larger, like proportionally. But like, who knows? Who knows? Laris also has.
I feel like Berlane doesn't have massive titties. She's in my like good, like large for her frame, but they're all. You can always see her nipples poking through her clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's got distracting titties, but I don't think they're massive.
There's always at least some, like, semblance of cleavage.
Halima is a real doll. So, a company offered to send Clarus one of those to advertise for it on her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We didn't take them up on it yet. But maybe we will.
Maybe we will.
Can you imagine if we had, like, a real doll in between us in the podcast and we turned to them for their opinion on the Wheel of Time?
It's our third. Oh my god. Apparently they're just like really heavy and it's like, what do we do with it after I like review it?
We have it on the set. We dress it up in cosplays and it's on the set.
Great. Anyways.
Ericwood says Halima isn't fake. Didn't Morden say those bodies were the best that they could find in the Borderlands? Wait, is Halima in a real person's... That's awful. I thought they created a body for that.
Yeah, it was like a creation because we know that whatever.
Arzoza says Eva Green for Berlane, and yes. Eva Green can do literally anything she wants to me. The scene, the fight sex scene from the 300 prequel is one of the most sexual things I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. That changed me as a man.
Sasarmi, I'm if you never noticed it and you glazed over it, that's fine. But I just want to read, open enough to show an incredible amount of bosom thrusting half out of her pale blouse. How did she avoid freezing, exposing so much skin in this weather? Like, how, if you glazed over that, that's totally fair, but it's here.
Yeah, I think that here's the thing. I think that there's so much description in the Wheel of Time that if you kind of glaze over all of the booby talk, you might not notice it.
Yeah.
But
it's
you can't
prevalent.
say it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it is definitely very prevalent. Like, and then that took me not even a moment to find. I just opened the page and it's at the very top.
There is an ungodly talk about breasts. Not a lot of talk about butts.
And here's the thing: if he's a boob
Robert
guy,
Jordan, not an ass man.
I'm into boobs. Like, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny.
Philip says, "Oh nope, stole the bodies of real people and put the souls of the Forsaken into them." Fuck.
That's some fucked up shit. So they found the perfect female form.
There was just one woman living in the Borderlands who was like the hottest?
The hottest with the bodiest.
The hottest with the bodiest. Huh. It was glazed over all right. Arzoza. Naughty.
Hey, whatever you do with your books
Naughty.
is all on you.
All right, let's keep going here.
Yeah.
So basically they start walking. Because these boots are made for walking. And they do give them some white Gaishan robes.
Well, yes, and they are healed, which is very nice of them, so...
Oh, yeah, they forced Galena to heal them, thankfully.
Yeah.
But they also get knee-high boots, which I was like, good call.
Yeah.
That is smart in the
snow.
cold.
Gotcha, yeah.
And they have 2 underlayers of robes. So, like, I guess the Aiel are kind of learning how to, like, you know, stay warm. But,
yeah. They've picked up some tricks, which is good.
They're a walk-in. And Tharava comes over and is like, all right, kids, you're going to work for Savannah, but secretly you're going to spy for me. Otherwise, we don't let you go ever. Gaishan now means that you're Gaishan forever unless you are Aiel, and then Gaishan still applies. I don't really understand the Shido way of life.
They are twisting it to whatever they want it to be.
I know, but then why is anybody, like, staying with them? You know what I mean? Like,
the Shido? The Shido don't get... They turned because they're the weak ones. They fucked off to do their own thing, and now they're like, well, we already committed this hard, this far, so if we leave, we're fucked, so I guess we stay and we just do bad shit. Like,
I know, but they have no sense of honor, so I don't really know, like, I don't know what binds them anymore. And I kind of wish that I did.
But that's the thing. Rand breaks what binds them. Rand absolutely ruins them. And nothing binds them anymore. They manipulate Giotto and their ways of life to manipulate whatever they want it to be in that moment. And that's why they're like... that's why the Aiel look down on the Shido.
No, but I'm saying, like... I'm saying among the Shido. Like, if you're, like, one of the regular Aiel in the Shido and you're looking around at what's going on and you're getting your asses kicked and you're stuck in the snow and, like, it doesn't really feel like anything is good... Look, I don't understand really how Savannah and Tharava and them have managed to keep this many Shido together at this point, considering the many ways they've failed.
I think if someone was going to leave, they would have done it with the whole Couladin thing. Like, they would have already left. At this point, they are, like, too far in. What the fuck are they supposed to do? They're Aiel. They can be recognized by anybody.
Yeah, but there's just no honor. Like,
no, yeah, they suck.
I think that there would have been a lot of people who followed Savannah out of an honorable, like, obligation to Couladin. But when Savannah breaks her honor, I'm surprised. I guess I'm just surprised more Shido didn't break off at the point where they started to, like, take people who weren't ideal as Gaishan or...
Hear me out. Okay, hear me out. Trump has done some fucked up shit. And every time he does another fucked up thing, I'm like, yeah, his followers, they're gonna see it and be like, oh yeah, that's pretty fucked up. But they don't. They stick to their guns for some reason.
No, but the difference with that is that a lot of... There was no red wave 2 weeks ago, right? Like, the Trump base... But we know that the Trump base did not show up for him in the way that it was expected, right? Because he is lacking in honor. I'm saying that, like, I'm surprised the Shido have managed to keep it together at this point when they've gone full MAGA, and you're not seeing the, like, undercurrent of... And partially, I think it's because we don't get any POVs inside of the Shido outside of those main people at the top.
People might have left, and they might have been made an example of. Like, there might have been stuff going on there where people are like, oh, it's not worth it for me to try and desert...
I'm just surprised.
We just haven't seen it.
I'm surprised, particularly among the Shido who are not Shido, the brotherless, that there's just so many people who seem to just be willing to follow Savannah no matter what. And I thought honor would matter more to them, and it doesn't, which makes them confusing.
They've been broken. They've been broken by Rand, and I think that's really what the prophecy was about.
And so they're willing to put up with anything.
It happens to people.
But Savannah, like, there's just no way that she's feeding them well. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know that. How would she do it? There's no food, right? They're covered in snow. There's no hunting.
Yeah, but they go around and they just kill whoever they want to and take whatever they want to. So,
I guess when they get to the main camp and it's thousands of people, I'm like, the ability to keep that together.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot. Yeah,
is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's gotta be a lot. But there's some shady shit going on in there, and that's
all it is. I find them to be so the Aiel that we know are the honor is just so important to them that I'm surprised that the Shido have just don't have that at all, and like it just makes them kind of confusing to me because I don't know what they are. They don't seem to have any.
They're not Aiel anymore, right? They've been broken past the point of like being Aiel. And I think that's maybe what it is that they don't have an identity anymore, and that's why they're clinging to the people around them because they have nothing else.
That's a good point.
They just have nothing else to hold on to. That you know.
I like that. I think that maybe that is it. Maybe it's just that they've been broken to the point where like it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. They're just surviving at this point, which is sad, right? It's really sad to see. And as much as like Thurava seems like an antagonist to Savannah, maybe Thurava will actually like serve for some good in the Shadow. Like
I don't think so, no, because Thurava was part of killing the D girl. What was her name?
Originally, yes. And she might be like, all right, we've followed Savannah too far. She's fucked up. Like, this is unacceptable. I'm just saying we don't know Thurava's like complete motivations yet. I think she might become like a key person for this section for this storyline anyways.
I kind of wish this wasn't here.
Which one?
This whole storyline. I wish they were just taking Massima back to Rand.
Yes. However, hear me out though. Okay. However, if this is also the storyline that deals with the Shido, that is like a huge weight off of Rand's shoulders. That is a huge win for them. Or maybe a loss, but like then if this is them dealing with the Shido and then also Massima afterwards, I won't mind it. Now, if this side tangent doesn't deal with the Shido in any significant kind of way, then I will feel like I've been strung along a little too hard. Because I was like, oh, the Shido are fucked. Nope, they're back. Oh, no, they've been split off. Oh, nope, they're back.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like after Dumai's Wells, I just felt like there shouldn't be this many Shido left.
Yeah, and like, I mean, there were like 100,000 of them, so they're being
and the Ashaman put them in a meat grinder, and so they're being, and so for them to have stuck together after that, I think my question is to you: how long do you think that this tangent of Perrin having to go rescue Fael goes on for?
I think my hope is that it'll last till about like here, like
you think it gets handled in this book?
Yes, I do.
I would love that. I don't think it does. Okay. I think that this is going to go on. I think they're going to chase the Shido and get caught between the White Cloaks and the Sanshin. And I think that this is just going to. I think that this is going to. I think that this is going to get wrapped up in Robert Jordan's last book in 11.
Oh.
I think that this is because of how many chapters I think can reasonably be given to this storyline in the rest of the book and still talk about everybody else. I think that we're going to be chasing this Shido across the country for like the next 2 books.
I hope not.
I hope not. Oh, no, I hope not.
We'll find out.
But I'm getting the vibe with Balwer showing up and being like, here are all of these different things that are going on. I'm like, oh shit, Robert Jordan is setting up that this is going to go on forever. And they're going to have to go fight the White Cloaks, and they're going to have to fight the Sanshin, and then they're going to like be on this like... Because I was on your boat, too. I thought that this was going to get wrapped up, this book.
Yeah.
And then Balwer rides over and is like, look at all these other people in the area. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, okay. I understand.
Do you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
And so that's what makes me nervous is that, like, this storyline that is the most subplotty of storylines is going to just drag me.
Here's the thing.
Especially because it's the first 6 chapters of this book, and nothing really happens in this entire 6-chapter section.
Totally.
It's a lot of like, we're going to go after her. We're Gaishan. We're in camp. We're walking.
But if the Shido...
I'm walking here.
If the Shido were taken off the table after this storyline in some regard, then I think it will be worth it. But yeah, I hope
it just depends on how long it takes.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, because I just like, I want these characters to start coming together.
Yeah.
And in these 6 chapters, we're on our way.
I hope, I really hope it's not the next, like, 4 books. I do.
I think it'll be 2. I think it's going to be 9, 10, 11. And then I think that, like, in
this one,
Robert Jordan's last book, it gets dealt with.
I understand what you're saying. Okay, we shall see. Yeah.
We'll see. So, is there anything else in this chapter? Aleander is, like, really pushing back against everything. Girl needs to learn. Fael is like, I'm Fael Tabara, thinking that hiding her dad's name will help, but then Galena's like, Oh, wait. No. Okay. No. So Tharava says you're going to spy for me.
Yes.
They agree to it. Sorry. Let's get through the...
Is that in this chapter, though?
It's in chapter 4, yeah, because it's the last chapter with the girls. Yeah. So then she walks away thinking that she's won, because she probably has. The girls are like, we can hide what we're going to say to Tharava. Yeah. And Fael's like, no, you fucking idiots. No, I sometimes feel like that's how Fael would talk if she could.
Yeah. She's like, you're a dumbass.
She's going to have other spies. If you don't say every word, then they're going to know that you're keeping stuff from her. And no, we're going to be good spies. And I really like this about Fael, that Fael's like, there's a good chance that Perrin is going to try and rescue us, but if you sit around and wait for rescue, you could be waiting forever.
Yes.
And I was like, Fael, like, this is why I like her. There's moments about this character I don't love.
Yeah.
But, like, that spirit of Fael, fucking love it.
Yeah.
Her being like, no. Someone might come and rescue me, but I'm not going to wait. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Yeah.
I'm gonna solve this problem myself, and if Perrin solves it for me before I do, great.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here like a damsel in distress.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that.
Absolutely. Bazimian, you know what? You're right. Smash that like button, y'all. If you're here, give the video a like. It helps boost the algorithm. And,
Smash it.
It means a lot to us that you guys come back every Friday.
Yeah. And so Tharava walks away, and then Galena walks up and is like, basically like, I need my dildo. So if you get me my dildo, I'll get you out of here. Mm-hmm. That's it, right?
Yeah. I need my dildo back really bad.
And so Fael says that she's Tabara, and Galena's like, oh. And Fael is like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Because Galena's like, oh yeah, Savannah really wants Randall Thor. If she learns that you're Perrin's wife, I won't tell her as long as you do what I say. And Fael is like, God damn it. She's caught in this trap between Savannah, Tharava, and Galena. Which is a lot of
danger
names that end with but
Savannah, Galena, Tharava, yeah. Oh, I was like, are there any other Aiel that are in this, like...
I don't think that are in this camp that we know of.
That's fair. But...
there probably are. Blue, thank you for gifting 10 memberships.
Blue, thank you so much.
Dakuna says, you'll get the dildo, if you get the dildo, I'll get you off.
Oh my god. Blue, thank you so much for gifting memberships. Guys, I hope you enjoy the emotes. They're pretty freaking cute. If you've got emotes, throw your favorite one in the chat. I would love to see it.
Yeah, enjoy that to everyone who just got that. Thank you so much, Blue.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
So then basically they agree. They're going to spy for whoever they can spy for. And
they're going to play all fields until they can make a decision.
Here's my question. Why does Galena want the oath rod?
So that she can undo her oaths.
But she can't.
Why not?
Because she can't channel without permission.
But Morghese can.
Oh.
Like, she barely has enough of the power to do a goddamn thing. But I'm sure that little trickle is enough. Because when they talk about the oath rods, that you don't put a lot of power into it. It's just that little teeny little bit, right?
I didn't think about Morghese. That's brilliant. Oh, shit. Right, because she can channel. So Morghese is gonna... Wait. But then Galena won't have any oaths to the Dark One.
Any oaths to anybody, potentially?
Do you think Galena goes back to being a Dark Friend? When she's free for the first time in her life?
You know, I'm not sure.
That's the messed up thing about the Dark Friends, is that they make this oath, they like get them as kids.
Yeah.
And like, I would actually love to see someone be like, I swore an oath when I was like 17, not knowing what I was swearing, and then like they get released. 50
years later, I've done the wrong thing.
I've regretted it my whole life, and now I can be a good person because I'm finally free of this oath.
Oh.
That's interesting, right?
Well, and here's the thing, Galena is terrible because of what she did to Rand, right? Like, she's like a horrible person.
100%, yeah.
But having that kind of development where she doesn't get redeemed necessarily, but she's like, guys, I fucked up. I gotta go think about what I've done. And she does her own thing.
Mm-hmm. Slick Jack says, nerdy, your wife is so much smarter than you. I know, guys. Guys, you don't need to... I know.
Guys, that is not true. I cannot do basic math.
Neither can I. I can't read. Last night I was like, oh my god, they've raised $10 million for charity. And then she was like, what? And I was like, oh, it's 10,000. I can't read. I just want to, before we move on, because we're moving on to chapter 5.
Yeah.
I am very aware. My wife is more attractive, more intelligent, a better person. I know most of you are here for her and not for me. I get it.
Oh my god.
We don't need to keep bringing it up. I'm already aware.
Hilarious.
And yeah.
You're also the comedian of the two of us, so
I mean, not today.
What do you mean?
I have had so many jokes this morning before we started streaming, and you did not laugh at any of them.
I was typing.
You were not paying attention.
I was distracted. It's fine. You know I love you.
Chapter 5. Flags. They play capture the flag. End of chapter.
Okay, hang on. This is... I'm kind of like a little bit upset, but also I have very conflicting feelings. The thing about the Wheel of Time that I find the most interesting is the Perrin Wolf Brother stuff. Mm-hmm. Always, and I don't know why that is. I think it's so fucking cool, and we barely get any of it, but at least we got some of it here. And I was like, okay, we got Hopper back. Hopper's best boy. Mm-hmm. That made me happy, but I wish that there was more of this, and I hope that the wolves play a part in defeating the Shido or getting Fail back whenever that does happen. So, yeah. You're already hot. You can't be the smart one as well.
I'm only hot temperature-wise, though, is the problem.
Not true.
Yeah, I am a furnace. Mm-hmm. So, you really done. Thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty from someone in the chat.
Wow, gotta keep him
Nerdy
humble. What?
Let's be honest. I'm too loud for you to not know who I am.
That's true.
So, Perrin is in the wolf dream trying to find Fail, and Hopper's there you're not going to find her here. You have to go back to real life. You've been here too long. You're going to die.
Yes.
And so
he's like, no, I am young bull.
Perrin tries to kill Hopper.
I know.
And Hopper flies.
Yes.
Hopper is Crypto the super dog.
Aww.
He's got a little red S and a cape.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hopper's like, badoing, and Perrin's like, I'm young bull.
Ow.
And then he's like, fine, I'll wake up.
Fine. And then he's like, oh shit, I just tried to kill Hopper.
Yeah. Also, where am I? Also, why am I naked? Also, why is Berlane in the room?
Also, what the fuck is happening right now? Okay, guys, Berlane is the worst. I feel like we've said this multiple times.
Fuck Berlane.
But she is...
legitimately...
horrible.
Fuck Berlane.
Horrible.
I hate this woman.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with a married... she's like, 2 women are after your attentions. Perrin is married to her, Fail.
Yeah.
This isn't you guys started dating, but we also kind of slept together, so it's complicated. Perrin is fucking married.
Yeah, I know.
And has told you so many times to stop.
Yeah. Yes, you are harassing. This is grounds for a restraining order.
Oh, 100%.
At this point, Jesus Christ.
We've crossed into this is turning into one of those terrible Fatal Attraction ripoffs. You know what I mean? Where you're oh my god, it's all about the woman who's obsessed with the man that isn't into her, so she kidnaps him and keeps him in her basement. Mm-hmm. And that's what Berlane is doing. Berlane is full on misery.
I know. And she's like, okay, how about a truce? And Perrin's like, the fuck you talking about? And she's like, okay, fine then.
Oh my god, just miserable.
Yeah.
And fucking Fail has been kidnapped for a day.
I know.
And I'm and then Berlane has the fucking audacity to be
and doesn't tell him.
We'll have a truce.
Doesn't tell him the information until today about Masima meeting with the Sanshin. Keeps that from him until now. I was like, you.
She didn't have a chance the first day.
No, that's not true. She's the one who told Fail about it. She could have been like, hey, I have some...
told Fail about it?
Or told Perrin about Fail. Berlane is the one who
but she doesn't want to... She doesn't want to mention Masima and the Sanshin in the middle of a crowd of all of the soldiers.
Okay, but if she's
she's never alone with him the first day.
Okay, but she could be. She has the power.
No, he sends her away. He doesn't want to deal with her. I don't blame Berlane for that. I think that Berlane telling the entire army that Masima met with the Sanshin makes everything way more complicated for Perrin. I agree with her here. I don't agree with her on the way that she's treating Perrin.
All right.
But I do agree with her on not mentioning the Sanshin meeting in front of everyone because it makes it too complicated when Masima shows up. Right? Giving Perrin that information when they're alone is the right call.
I think it's the right call to make it when they're alone, but I think that the timing of this is very intentional in an icky way.
But Perrin sent her away. No. Everything about this is icky, and Berlane is
Berlane could have come to him on that hill for the 10 hours that he was freezing. I'm just saying.
No, he was unconscious. He was in the wolf dream.
No, not all of it. He goes and stands with Talonvor for a while.
I think he slips into the wolf dream right away. I don't think he's there.
Okay.
I think he's unconscious.
Yeah. Anyways, she's the worst.
Melinda Kraft says, I cannot understand Berlane's motive. Berlane sucks.
Yeah.
She's
probably good that
horny.
you cannot relate to Berlane, because I have never considered, like, I just would not.
Yeah, if you can relate to this woman, I recommend therapy.
Yeah.
If you're like, no, this is how I would get a boyfriend too, I recommend therapy.
There are better ways, and we can help you with that.
Yeah. If you kidnap a man while he's unconscious and then put him in your bed naked.
Yeah, and then
get
stage it
behind his wife's back.
Yes.
You need therapy.
And then stage it so that people think that you guys fucked. Like, he leaves the tent, and people think that he has betrayed Fael because Berlane wants it to be
pissed.
so. Yeah.
I feel like Berlane is the inspiration for that Netflix show You. You know? Isn't that's the one with
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god, what's his name? I've met him so many times.
Yeah.
What's the guy from Gossip Girl? Dan?
I don't know. I don't watch Gossip Girl.
I feel bad because I've like had dinner with him. On set.
It'll-
At work, we've like sat at the same table and eaten food.
Yeah.
And now I can't remember his name.
It'll come back to you.
Fuck, what is his name? Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, ick. Moving on, chapter 6.
Tithonus says, to you and myself, marriage is love. To her, it's just politics. But Perrin is already married.
Yeah.
It's not politics at this point.
Well, and because...
He is married.
Because Fael is Saldean and, like, what, third in line for the throne?
Yes.
Like, Berlane is putting Maine at risk
Penn Badgley,
by angering Fael?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't understand how trying to steal him is a political move, to be honest.
I feel like Saldea would go to war and crush Maine.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I would look, I'm gonna be honest. I'll take Davram Bashir over Maine every day of the week.
Yes, absolutely.
Every day.
Yeah.
I just think, it's very strange. It's very strange to me because I don't think that Berlane...
Unless there's a political strategy that I can't see
don't think Berlane
here,
wins by getting Perrin to leave Fael.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she just loses.
Yeah, it seems
Also,
weird.
There's no divorce in the Wheel of Time, so I don't know what Berlane's goal is.
True. We've never seen anyone get divorced.
The only person who's had a second partner that we know of in the entire series right now is Morgase was her husband's second wife because his first wife died.
Yeah, and we know that, like, Morgase had, like, different lovers, but they weren't married, right?
No, like, I don't know that... We've never even heard the word divorce.
Divorce by marriage knife. You know what? Yes, the Ebudari murder their husbands, so there is that.
Yeah, I don't think the word divorce has been used at all.
The word divorce, I don't believe so.
So, like, I don't know what... Yeah, I just don't get what Berlane wants. I just don't understand her. She's kind of exhausting, and this was not fun to read.
Yeah.
And you feel bad for... Perrin did nothing wrong again.
I know,
and
poor
like,
Perrin.
It's the same with Matt. I'm like, what the fuck is... Like, Robert Jordan is just, like, putting these situations out there that I have to be like, what the fuck is this?
I know.
Same with the stuff with in the prologue, and then people get upset with our book club for like, why do you guys talk about this stuff? And I'm like, because it's in the books. I'm not making it up. I'm not like adding consent problems to the books. They're there.
Well, and I think that a part of that is by the time you reach the end of the series, the individual parts jump out at you less, right? So people who have already gotten to the end of it have a full picture, and those are so small in terms of the grand scale of things, but we take it in chunks, and we talk about that chunk without the cushion of the greater whole, right? We're dissecting the individual parts, and I think that's honestly what makes our podcast unique in a way, because we bring our views to a thing that, is a bit dated, and we can understand that this was written in a different time, but we're not going to ignore that because we're not going to give it a pass because of that. We're going to talk about it, right? And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other problem, especially with chapters like this one, is that nothing's happening. Like the plot, there's no plot here, right? The plot of this chapter actually happens with the people who are tracking. And so what Robert Jordan decides to do a lot of the time with his writing is he centers the point of view on a character who is waiting for someone to come deliver information. And so you're just reading descriptions of things that are around the character who is not actively pushing the plot forward.
Yeah.
Like Elias and the Aiel are actively doing something, and Perrin isn't in this chapter.
Yeah.
And so the entire chapter is just reading a description of things that happened off screen.
Yeah.
And like characters remembering them or being told about them.
Yeah.
And so when the plot isn't happening on screen, the reader is forced to focus on other things, and it's how people feel about what's being done to them, which I think reinforces in chapters where the plot moves forward more. I don't feel it as much, but in this, like, this is our third chapter with Perrin.
Yeah,
and thus far
was 150 pages, and I think that the first half of it was, like I said, the prologue was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this second half of this section, I think could have been definitely condensed. So, but yeah, so we get to chapter 6.
Yeah.
We get to chapter 6, and Perrin is like, oh, right, the Sanchin have met Massima. Great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love that for me. And he's trying to find the direction of Massima's camp, because Massima has been amassing an army. Instead of the, 100 people that was said that could come along, instead thousands are showing up. And if that's not sus, then I don't know what is.
Lightblind Fool, before we move on, Lightblind Fool says, RJ loves making the reader feel what the characters feel, so if you're feeling frustrated that nothing seems to be moving toward resolution, then he did a good job. It depends on what you think a good job is.
Yeah, if your idea of a good story is grounded in realism in that sense, then I guess that the monotony of reading things not happening is like, well, that's real life. But for me personally, when someone is telling a story, there's a reason that they're telling it, and when that story is not being told, when it feels like it has grinded to a halt, that's not fun for me.
Well, and what's
and
weird
I want
to me,
my content to be fun. Like, I like reading things that are
I don't need it to be fun. I need it to have
fun is maybe the wrong
I need
word.
it to have a pace.
Yeah.
Like, and one of the things that I find really weird about the Wheel of Time is that I feel like he introduced traveling and that everyone can teleport. And then at the point where I felt like the plot should pick up because now they can get around faster, it grinded to a halt there. Like, I feel like since traveling was introduced, Robert Jordan keeps writing reasons why people aren't using it to the point where these things could get wrapped up and aren't.
I think that the Sanchin finding out about traveling is like a big reason that the women don't travel. But, he has 2 Ashaman, so they can travel to speed up this whole time.
But Perrin doesn't know that the Sanchin know about traveling.
What?
Perrin doesn't know that the Sanchin know about traveling.
Well, because they shouldn't know.
Right, but that's my point. Like at the point in the book where Robert Jordan introduced that a lot of factions can travel now, is the point where I feel like the plot has kind of slowed down to a snail's pace. And I find that strange because I thought that traveling being proliferated among the societies was going to speed up the motion of the plot.
Yeah.
And instead it feels like that was the point where very little has happened since then. Other than like the chapter where Rand went and killed Samael.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just feel like we've slowed down to the point where I understand people's perspective on like, well, someone said, Richard Lone says, Robert Jordan was making a point that things are messed up in this world. I understand that things are messed up, but like,
we get it.
None of these storylines are moving towards conclusions. They just get to almost conclusions, and then something happens that leads them in a different direction. Like Perrin getting to Massima and then being like, all right, we're taking you to Rand. Oh, and no, we have to go do this thing first.
Yes.
And we just keep getting, we have to go do this thing first. We keep, like, it keeps this thing first, this thing first, this thing first, that I'm trying to, like, stay engaged, but nothing is ending.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, if this kind of bait and switch type storyline is, like, Perrin going to deal with one problem, which is Massima, and ends up dealing with the Shido, maybe not instead, but in addition to, like, I like that. But, this part of it and setting it up was just a little bit draggy.
But even in setting up that they're headed towards the Shido, then Balwer rides into the scene and says that there's two other subplots within the subplot that you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And so it's this question of, I've lost the direction of individual books. Things just sort of like conclusions don't matter. Yeah,
it is hard to differentiate books when you're in this middle bit because they kind of they do bleed into one another. The storylines all bleed through, and I do think by the time we get to the end, we'll be like, okay, yeah, that happened in which book again? I think that we've made our point.
I want to bring up Benjamin Fraser says Robert Jordan is really good on the logistics of armies and communications with medieval tech, so he kind of shot himself in the foot by introducing traveling. I really agree with that.
I think that's totally fair.
I think a lot of this stuff was more interesting when they were constrained by the technology of the time.
Yeah.
And by like waiting for ravens and things. But now that they can teleport, the fact that their information isn't, that they're not teleporting information to each other becomes weird.
I think what I mean? I think it could have been a more interesting choice if traveling is something that only maybe like Rand and Nynaeve are powerful enough for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if it was a little more selective, I think, with who can and who can't do it. Because, Robert Jordan has given himself a really hard thing to write around. The idea of traveling is cool, and I totally get it, and it makes sense. But it is, in the constraints of his storytelling, I think that it's something that he's maybe struggling to write through.
Even with that, like, there's too many ways for information to be passed right now, because there's also dream walking. And Perrin has wise ones with him.
Yeah.
And so it is at a point where I'm like, why don't people know things? Perrin's like, we need to tell Rand about the Sanshin. And I'm like, then have one of the wise ones dream walk it over to the other wise ones. Like,
but then the problem with that is that they would need to give it to all the wise ones because they have no idea where Rand is at any given moment.
Okay, what's the problem with that?
Well, then a lot of people,
you know what I mean?
know very valuable information that maybe only Rand should know. And Perrin doesn't know if he can trust the wise ones to a certain extent. Like,
sure.
That's the hard thing with information, right?
But that's why I think that having so many characters be able to travel becomes a burden on the storytelling.
Yeah, I understand.
You like, Robert Jordan keeps having to write these things. Like, Massima's like, oh no, I'm not down to travel. And then Perrin's like, oh, but he meets up with Massima. Mm-hmm. They all come, or Massima rides to his camp. Massima's like, you're looking for me. Massima brings thousands of people, not 100 like he's supposed to, because of course not. And Perrin's like, oh, but we need to travel to go get my wife. And Massima's like, oh, I'll make an exception this time for this. And this is where it gets to be like... I
did think that was a little convenient. Yeah.
But you won't make an exception to go see Rand?
To see Rand. You won't make an exception to see him, but you'll make it to save somebody that he knows. Yeah. So, Car, thank you for that super chat. They are trying to overlevel for final boss with all of the subquest. Yeah, I get that if we were comparing this to like a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get it. I felt for a couple of books like we're not headed towards Tarmangaden in any way. Mm-hmm. I just don't get the feeling that any of these characters are headed towards the thing that we're supposed to be headed towards. I get the feeling that they're all headed towards another subplot. And I want to feel like someone is moving towards Tarmangaden.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't right now, honestly. I feel there's really cool things happening. Mm-hmm. Like, I love the Elaine Avienda First Sister ceremony. I think that's a really cool beat.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything for the larger story to me right now, because those characters are so far shunted into their own plot that they're not interacting with anybody else. And like, these people can all teleport and they're not talking to each other. Mm-hmm. And so it's gotten to the point now where, like, I don't know what Tarmangaden is in book 9. I don't feel like anyone's headed towards it.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the enemy in it is. We've had Moradin for 2 books. I don't know who he is or what he wants, or I'm getting this vibe that, like, I'm a little adrift at sea and I just want to, like, care about these characters. And he's introduced so many characters and I don't care about most of them.
Yeah.
If all of the sea folk died in the next chapter, I don't really care.
Well, it would be one of those things where
I'm not invested.
I don't have a perspective on that. And so it is. It's tougher to care. We said we weren't going to go as long today. So we need to get to chapter 6.
But that was chapter 6. We just talked through it.
Oh, was that all of it?
They meet up with Massima and they're going south. Is there anything else in chapter 6 you want to talk about?
Well, honestly,
like, yeah, they talk. He talks to the Chafail and they're gonna work for him. Like, it's just a lot of, like, him talking to people.
Yeah, their ideas of toll are interesting. You know, we'll pay our toll to Fail afterwards, but yeah, I guess that is really it. That he's got Fail's spies that he's found out about, and they're gonna help him. And then they go to meet Massima, and Massima's like, yeah, okay, traveling is fine if it's to go get Fail.
Yeah, I don't know. These 2 chapters were a lot of Perrin walking around talking to people about stuff that we know. She's kidnapped. Like, and I know that he's sad about it. Like, I just think that there's a way to move forward. Mm-hmm. And I'm so desperate for these books to start moving forward, because we're just moving sideways. And we're like, I feel like, I don't know why, but it just feels like filler. It feels like we're in the middle of a story. I
think that's because we're in the middle of it. I think that Robert Jordan is very intentional with the threads that he has. There's just there's a few too many of them right now that we don't have those satisfying moments when things are resolved, which I think is just the one thing that these middle books are missing, is those satisfying moments when things are resolved. The only one we've gotten is like the bowl in this kind of middle section, which was great. Like that felt good. And we just need a few more of those things, which is why I'm very hopeful that like this is going to be the like, okay, we're dealing with the Shido and that's a thing like kind of checked off.
I hope so too. Right? I hope that they get Fido back by the end of the book.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Berserker says, once I've explored the map and used fast travel to go all over the place because I'm a completionist is when many games lose a lot of their fun to me. I agree with that. No, that I agree with. Like, once you get to the point where, like, you've kind of... That's when you're like, okay, I'm going to do the main storyline now, because I just need to beat it at this point.
Yeah, and I think that is dependent on different people, right? There are people in our community who are like, no, like, I understand why he's doing this, and there are a lot of people who've gotten to the end, and it all makes sense for them in the grander scheme of things. But not everybody enjoys writing or video games or shows, or not everybody enjoys art the same way. Yeah. And I just think that that's something to remember when speaking about art, right? Which is what we are doing.
Where everything is just our opinions. If you guys love this, I totally understand. Yeah. I don't. I'm going to be honest. Like, I just don't. I find myself, and I loved the prologue. Like, I was so hot on the prologue.
There was some good shit in here. Like, and then, some really good stuff.
I just can't help but just feel like the Perrin Fail stuff has become real pointless to me, and it could turn around at any second. Like, these characters could meet up and like get moving, and like it could be really cool.
Yeah,
I just feel like and maybe it's just like ending on this chapter was just kind of a weird ending spot for our show, because it kind of ends on a nothing.
We're like, okay. Dakuna makes an awesome point that they're looking forward to the entire series recap and looking at this in retrospect, and so am I. I'm really interested to see what comes together and how, and if there are any pieces that are left behind, like if the scope of it was too big, and what was able to be resolved, and those like purposeful choices, because I don't think that anything in these is not like purposeful.
I hope it is. Yeah, but there's too many dangling threads that I feel like have been given up on. Mm-hmm. Who killed Asmodean, guys?
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I love this point. Jochio says, my friend quit the books based on this storyline.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah. I kind of get it.
I understand.
It's not enough for me to quit it, because I still like Robert Jordan's writing. Like, he's such a talented writer. Yeah. That like even in the stuff where I don't care, I'm still impressed with the language that he uses. Mm-hmm. And maybe I should be pulling more quotes, because there's a lot of quotes this week that I didn't highlight and take pictures of, because I did all my reading this morning because I was sick last night. And so
not all of your reading, but you finished
I read
reading.
6 chapters. I read the prologue and 4 pages of chapter 1.
Oh, really?
And then I read all 6 chapters this morning before book club.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I've been reading since 8:00 in the morning. And so
I'm sorry.
It's fine. No,
but I mean
it was fine.
It was rough.
I just had a rough night. Yeah.
Furthermore, I want to acknowledge your comment. The fact that you two explain why you feel a certain way makes it more reasonable than just saying this sucks. We never want to be those people that are just like, no, this sucks, and if you don't agree with me, like, you're wrong. Like, the things that we have issues about, I feel like we are giving room to be wrong about, right? Oh, if this resolves, if this comes around this way, like, I can understand and I can see what it is, and yada, yada, yada. We never just want to, like, say something shit and rag on it without ever explaining why. And, if that happens, do let us know, because we want this podcast to be a discussion and not just yes good or yes bad, like, because I think that's boring.
I also don't think that it sucks.
No,
it's not that it sucks. Yeah. It is that
I think that was just a general example of like what people have done in the past. Maybe.
It's not that it sucks. It's that it's not moving. And it's strange, because it's so well written, but it almost feels like when he decided it wasn't going to be 6 books anymore, he decided on a book number before he decided on the plot for those books. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like he was like, oh, I need to go to 11 or whatever, or to 12. And so once he decided on 12, he started to write out to just kind of fill up books.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel like he like sat down and created an outline for this novel or for the last 2 books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like they have an outline. It feels like he came up with like this like end goal and then just started writing.
Yeah.
And didn't edit to any sort of structure.
Well, and the thing is, there are still such like good parts in this.
100%.
And I'm like, yeah, I just want to sink my teeth into. There was one thing that I took a picture of, and if you're not in the Discord, this might not mean as much to you. But someone tagged us in a video where they actually they recreated an English longbow and they recreated French plate mail.
Oh yeah.
And they shot it with arrows. And guys, the Two Rivers longbows are magic because like Perrin literally says at this range the Two Rivers longbow would put a pile shaft right through his breastplate and through the wearer's back besides. And I was like,
there's no
Would it though?
A gun wouldn't shoot through a breastplate, a human body, and a backplate.
Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I was just laughing at it because it was something that had come up in our Discord.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Two Rivers longbows are magic. We already kind of like knew that from how they were
100%.
talked about earlier. But I did take a picture of that line because I thought it was very funny. And if you want to see that video, it is in the Discord. It's fascinating. It's very cool if you're into that kind of stuff. So yeah, come join the Discord if you want.
AP says an arrow has a lot more energy than a bullet. Is that true?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I don't know.
But yeah.
Anyway, I feel like we've talked a lot at the end here.
Yeah.
I feel like I hope we're not being mean. I know that there was a lot of negativity last week, guys, and I'm sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I read the comments. I hear you. I wasn't trying to be negative this week. I also like, I have to be honest about how I feel like this whole podcast is about our journey through this.
Yeah.
And like, there is positive stuff here. I'm still doing the reading. I'm not like, we literally we had the opportunity to take 2 weeks off and we're not, you know what I mean? Like, that's where we're at.
Yeah,
we're not taking those 2 weeks off.
Yeah. This series does mean a lot to us, even if we have a lot to say about it.
I just want to feel like any of this has a point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm struggling with that. I think one of my biggest struggles, honestly, is I don't have any idea what Tarman Gaydon is yet. Like the final battle, I know that they have to be there for it, but in terms of like what it is, it doesn't feel like we're moving towards it because I have no idea what it is. And I find that very interesting after 9 books. Not 9 books, 8 books and 8 and a quarter. I find it very interesting that 8 books and a quarter into the series, this thing that we're headed towards there's no setup for it yet. Like, it really feels like it's just going to be a battle that happens one day, unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And I find that a little bit strange. I wish that we had more prophecy or something about what the final battle was and what these characters were actually doing to prepare for it.
Yeah.
Because rather than get that, we're getting side stories about like the political things and, you know, all of this stuff among the people. And I just don't feel invested in Tarman Gaydon because it feels like it could be anything at this point. And once we start to get an idea of what it actually is, I think I'll be more invested.
And I think that it will. I have faith in Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. I have absolute faith that things will come together. But yeah, being in the middle of it is always tougher, right?
I have one last comment before we get into high-low.
Okay.
If this franchise wasn't done, I would have stopped reading until.
Just wait till it all comes out.
This is one where I feel like the writing is lost right now in what it is trying to tell me. And if I didn't know that the final book had been published, I would have stopped reading.
I think that's fair.
Like, I don't think I'm going to read Winter. I don't think I'm going to read Winter. What is it? The Winds of Winter? The next Game of Thrones book? I don't think I'm going to read it until the final book comes out.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I don't care. And like, the only reason I'm still invested in this is because I know that the final book is published and that we do get there. But if I didn't know 100% that the final book was going to be a satisfying conclusion, I would stop here.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
honestly.
I get that 100%. Josh, thank you for that super chat. Fans, oh my god, you're gonna hate the slog so much, you guys. Yeah, I can see what you mean. The pacing is pretty slow. Fans, wow, stop being so negative. Ooh, ooh.
That's so true, though.
That is kind of what it felt like.
Why don't you love this thing that we've been telling you for a year? We've been doing this for a year. We've been doing this series for a year, and people have been like, "You're gonna hate you're gonna hate book 8." And then we got there, and I was like, "I didn't really love it." And people are like, "Why are you not loving this? It's the great." And I'm like, "What? You told me for 11 months I wasn't gonna like it, and then you're surprised that you were right?"
Yeah. People got upset with us last week, and if you go into the comments, you can read those if you like. I had to stop because.
Yeah.
I had to stop reading them. Unfortunately. But
yeah, no,
I have found the slog, and we understand, and we hear it. Like, you know.
I will read the rest of Song of Ice and Fire, and I've read all 5 of those books many times.
Yeah, but when it finishes.
I will read it when Brandon Sanderson writes A New Spring.
Yeah.
Did you see George R. R. Martin was doing an interview, I think it was with Colbert, and he was like, I'm 75% of the way through Winds of Winter. And Colbert was like, so it took 5 years to get 75% of the way.
So the math.
So we'll get it in like 2026?
You know what, Mal? That is true. We did say to leave me in comments. That's our bad.
Oh, leave me in comments. Just know that Clarissa doesn't read them. I read all of them. And that's why I have...
anxiety?
Gallstones.
No. It's, yeah. It's been turbulent, but we're going to get to the end, you know?
Oh, no, but here's the thing. I know that there's an end, so I'm down for it.
Exactly.
But if I was like, if it was 2000 and I was reading this book not knowing if this was ever going to end,
you'd be like, okay,
I think I would tap out.
I'm going to wait until it's finished.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Because...
Yeah.
Like, there is something about these big stories that I have to know that this is going to go somewhere. And I think that Game of Thrones is the reason.
That was Walking Dead for me.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, is there any hope or light at the end of the tunnel in this world at all? No, I'm out. You've lost me.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't finish Walking Dead either. And I used to buy those comics every week.
Yeah.
Like I read all of The Walking Dead, and I gave up for the same reason. I was like, oh, this isn't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. We're just introducing new villains. Like there is no reason.
That was it.
It's the reason why I kind of stopped reading comics, to be honest. Like, I don't really read comics.
They just go on and on and on.
I read arcs that are really good after they're out, right? Like, I will read, like, Nightfall, which I think is a really well-written comic. I will read the trade. Mm-hmm. I don't buy floppies anymore because the constant second act of them is just kind of boring. Yeah. Stories are only interesting in their resolutions. Yeah. The middle of a storyline isn't the best part. It's what it leads to. Yeah, and 100%. So, yeah.
I totally agree. Ian, thank you for that super chat. As someone who's been reading Wheel of Time since the 90s, please be assured that the only thing Wheel of Time fans love more than Wheel of Time is complaining about Wheel of Time.
It is true.
I understand.
And I feel that now, because I consider myself a huge Wheel of Time fan. And I kind of love complaining about it, but
there's things that we're like...
Even if we stopped doing book club, I would keep reading the books at this point. Because I know that it ends, right? And so, like... Yes. Yeah. I am a Wheel of Time fan. I'm gonna be at JordanCon. We might be going to Wheel of Time Con in July. Like,
yeah, I don't know yet. We'll have to figure that out.
I love the franchise. I also am mad at the franchise in this moment.
Yeah,
I can't wait to be done and be on the other side and do podcasts where we're like, guys, we haven't talked about Wheel of Time in a month. Let's just like...
I have a feeling we're going to be the people who finish the series and book club. We just go back into making more Wheel of Time content.
We do the reread book club?
There's so much here. And I think, honestly...
The second time through, we go even slower. Well, we're doing 2 chapters a week.
Like, the other...
Oh, Wheel reads?
Yeah. Well, and
Season 2 of the Nerdy Wordy Book Club is just a slower tramp through the Wheel of Time.
Here's the thing. At first, I was like, there's no way that we're going to do that. But now I'm kind of like, I can see why we would do that. Mm-hmm. And I can see why people would watch it. I thought people were here for this podcast because we hadn't read it before and it was fun to see our first-time impressions. But at this point, I truly believe that people would be here for a reread, and so who knows? We'll have to see.
The thing is, these books are so dense that like reading even if we just did Eye of the World, that would be fascinating because it's so to know where these characters even to read the Eye of the World now,
to know where they end up. Yeah.
It's so weird looking back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to here's the thing. I'm excited to read chapter 7. So, like, even though I feel like we are kind of complaining a little bit, I'm still invested.
Here for the next thing. Yes, 1,000%.
And that's the testament to Robert Jordan. I feel like last week I was a little burnt out on some of the, like, the spanking stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm trying to be more open to that, even though chapter 3 of this was tough for me.
Yeah.
There's a point where, like, they're, like, tits down in the snow getting beat with rods that I was like,
I know. I was like,
fuck's sake, Jordan.
Okay.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're getting our tires changed in 10 minutes. So we gotta wrap up. Yeah, they're coming at 2.
You never said that was confirmed.
Oh, well, they said yes.
All right, high-low. This is a thing that we did at my family dinner table. A lot of you probably spent time with your families yesterday for American Thanksgiving. I'm so sorry that you had to see them.
Wow.
Clarus is going to go first, and then I'll do my low, she'll do her low, and then I'll do my high. We compliment sandwich this because we commiserate over our lows, but we celebrate our highs, and that is how we are drawn closer together in our marriage, where we don't... Oh.
What?
No, I'll bring it up as my low. Say what your high is.
I'll bring it up as my low. All right. If you guys have high lows, feel free to drop them in the chat or in the Discord where we can talk about them after. My high is specifically the moment where Avienda and Elaine say the things that they admire the most in the other person. That whole scene, I think, is a big high for me.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, it doesn't move like the story forward, like the plot of it itself, but I thought it was beautiful. Even in the middle of it, I was like, this is kind of weird. Okay. And I was like, okay, I see where we're going. And it all came together. But specifically that moment where Elaine is like, she thinks that I'm brave. You know, she's like, oh, wow. Okay. And, you know, she tells Avienda that she thinks that she's so fearless in her individuality, which, like, Avienda doesn't believe. Like, there was something really beautiful about that, and how the one power made it instantaneous at the same moment. It was beautiful. James Smith, thank you for that super chat.
Rereads you pick up on so much. Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Even on the rereads, I get frustrated.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your low?
We had a lot of comments last week who were defending the yelling element of Fael and Perrin's relationship and how we said that that's unhealthy. And people were like, well, no, but what if you like when you argue with your husband?
Nobody is born and likes being yelled at.
There is a section in this where Fael says that Perrin even when Perrin gets so mad that he throw things. Oh, wait, Perrin doesn't throw things. I throw things.
And I draw
often
blood.
Enough that occasionally I hit him and draw blood. And I was like,
I forgot
this
about
is
that.
Not like, I'm sorry.
That
if
is
you
not
think that it's a healthy dynamic, it is not. If you are throwing enough things at your partner that you are occasionally cutting them with the glass that you are shattering around their body because you miss and hit them, that's fucked up. And when I read that, I was like, fuck, like, I want to like Perrin and Fael, but like their relationship is not a healthy one. And that was my low. I remember reading it being like...
No, I forgot about that. I blocked that. I was like, no.
If your wife is throwing glass at you often enough that you get cut and that she remembers drawing blood...
That is abuse.
That's fucked up.
That is abuse. Yeah. And it needs to be unlearned.
Yeah. And so, like, the people who were, like, fighting with us and were like, no, but, like, it's her culture. And I'm like, this is not... No matter what your culture is, if you're drawing blood from your partner, that's a problem.
Just
that's
because it's a cultural thing does not mean it's a right or good thing. Yeah. And Ebudar is the same. It is fucked up that they just stab each other. I can't believe I have to like say that out loud. But I
didn't like it. I just didn't like it.
Did not like it.
You know what I mean?
No.
When she was like, I drew blood, I was like, oh God, Fael, what the fuck? Yeah.
My low is Berlane manipulating and having people think that Perrin and her slept together, because when Fael gets back, that's gonna have horrible consequences. And that's my low. What's your high?
It's tough not to take the sister bonding ceremony. I think that's like great stuff.
Yeah.
But weirdly, my high is the way the way Rand is running things right now. But like through secret meetings, because he doesn't want people to know that he's there, but he wants them to know that he's still in charge. I just found his scene with Dobrain really fascinating. And I love Rand. I think as a protagonist, I find him really interesting. And I hope that I hope we spend more time with him and not less. I think the more the series gets away from Rand, the tougher it is. And I think that Rand's storyline is actually consistently very interesting to me. And it's mostly the other characters who... I don't feel any slog in Rand's plot. And I do in other characters.
Yeah.
But Rand never seems to have slowed down to a slog. And I really like it. Yeah. I think... Yeah, I found it all fascinating. And Min, like, wanting Herodfel's books. Like, that whole point of view was just my favorite part of the reading this week.
Yes.
I love Min. I love Rand.
Min is the best, always. We love her.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to watch someone try and run things when he's not even sure if he can trust his own mind.
I know.
And, like, it is the best part of these books, in my opinion. And I think as a protagonist, Rand is just so fascinating.
I agree.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I think, and it's weird because I actually think that curing the taint will not take away from that interest.
Oh, I don't think he actually cures it.
You don't think he cures the taint?
No. I think that he tries, but I think that he fails.
Okay. I think he does. We've talked about this, that by the end of the series... You
want to bet on it?
Sure. I believe you've said in the past that you think that he's going to cure it by the end of the series as well, so I
don't anymore.
You don't think he's going to cure the taint?
No, now that he wants to. When he wasn't actively trying to cure the taint... I thought that he was going to, and now that he's actively trying to, I don't think he's going to.
Okay, bet on it.
Bet on it, bet on it.
I don't know what we're betting.
Bet on it.
But, yeah, I don't know what we're betting on, but we'll figure that out, I guess.
Yeah. Next week, chapters 10 through...
Nope, 7?
7 through 15.
Math. Next week is section 2.
James Spence, thank you for getting a Narc Smart shirt. Let's go.
So much. The chapters are posted in the Discord as well as you put on the YouTube page, right?
Yeah.
Community page.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, we can pull this up.
Start doing your...
But hey, you know what you should do? You should like this video and you should subscribe to the channel. If you're here at this point in the video and you haven't subscribed yet, 7 through 14. Questions. 7 through 14 we are reading and covering next week. Yeah. And we will be in Los Angeles. And then the following week will be the recap of The Path of Daggers. So stick around for that.
That one's going to be pre-taped.
Yeah.
But it will be premiered so you guys can hang out and chat. We'll try and be there for chat, but we're not sure what our schedule is that day yet.
Yeah. We are going to be at
next week it will be an hour later. Everybody. What time we started today, go an hour later. And that's what time we'll be live. We're going to be live at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, we didn't want to get up and do book club at 8 a.m. LA time. Yes. So we're going to do 9 a.m. LA time. So we're going to start 1 hour later next week. Eastern. We'll be posting about it all week. We'll let you know. Yeah. But next week, 1 hour later. We need to make sure that people know that. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to post everywhere. We're going to talk about it all week. We're talking about it now. Yeah. But next week, we're going to start 1 hour later. Yeah. If you forget things easily, join the Discord. We'll remind you. Chapter 12 reaction. Oh, fuck. Do we have to do a reaction this week? I don't know. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. Also, y'all, that chapter, the reactions from now on are not going to be edited for the public. Those are going to be for patrons and YouTube members. If there's like a really funny moment, we might post like a short of like a good moment from the reaction. Yeah. But we're not going to be doing the chapter reactions are no longer going to be edited. For a variety of reasons, but just so you know. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't have to edit it. We can listen to it and just post it. Yeah, okay. That'll be fine. We'll figure how we might have to do that in out. But we can do that anywhere. Figure it out. Don't worry about it. I don't need editing time on it, so it'll be fine. Okay. Sorry, we're like figuring things out on the pod. Follow us on the internet. I'm at nerdynightly. And I'm at Claris Polaris. Thank you so much for another great week of book club, guys. I'm really excited to see what's next. So let's get into that. Before we go get our tires changed, though, so that I don't crash again, because that was a fun thing. Hey, you're here and you're alive, so that's what matters. Smut Corner? Smut Corner. Smut Corner. Yeah, to be honest, I'm like, I don't know where I would add. I mean, I don't know. The first sister ceremony was pretty smutty. Avienda and, I think Amis signed up because she was like, wait, if I sign up, I have to feel the pain of childbirth. But then Avienda and Elaine are going to suckle on my tits. Oh my God. And she's like, yeah, I want my tits sucked. If that's what you into, no shame. Fucking get it. Amis was like, I will put up with childbirth to have these two hot young ladies suckle my teats. Oh my God. If I was writing the books, I would just like cut to the Rand and Min alone in the wilderness having like hot under the stars sex.
Like every location that they want to. Like, can you imagine? Like, we're like, oh, there's this like 300-foot tower that somebody built a long time ago. We can travel to the top of that and just like have sex overlooking all of Randland.
Oh my God, so much fun! Yeah. Rand and Min, while they're spreading stories about him being in every country, they're also trying to like check sex in every country off their list.
Sex in every country.
I had a friend on tour who he's like a touring actor.
Yeah.
And he was like, he wanted to have sex in every state.
Jesus.
And he's like, he's close, you know?
Good luck
when you're on tour, it's easy because you'll end up dating someone in the show, and then you cross 6 or 7 states off your list.
Oh, I guess, but not a different person every time.
No, well, sometimes, but not every time.
Sure,
yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, Min and Rand definitely bone down because Rand needs to relieve some stress. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to add any smut into any of the others, into like the 6 chapters.
Yeah, no, me neither.
It's tough. It's tough because nobody's with their partner anymore. Everyone's been kidnapped except Min.
Basically, yeah.
Egwene hasn't been kidnapped. I'm proud of Egwene. Someone was abducted and it wasn't her.
It was not Egwene. That's nice to see.
The one thing I will say is that I'm glad that the Gaishan-ness of it all means that there's not going to be any sexual abuse of the women.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
And, you know, it's at least the Aiel are better than the Black Tower in that way, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
Smut corner.
The bar is low. Anyways, thank you guys for...
the bar is on the floor.
Another stream. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you over in the Discord.
Does this mean Faela's going to level up? Wait, does this mean Faela is going to be the next Emerald Seat?
Because she's been kidnapped.
Egwene got abducted into being the Emerald Seat. The same...
No, Faela is going to become the Queen of Saldaea. Because she got abducted. That's how this works.
Manetheren would kind of be like a long country, but it could work.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, mods. We wouldn't be anything without our mods, guys. Thank them. Absolutely. And we will be back live from Los Angeles 1 hour later than usual next week with chapter 7 through 14. Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye, guys.